Good. I can't believe is this the first time you were never on the CrossFit podcast or this podcast before, huh?
No, in all the years we have known each other.
Unacceptable. That happens every once in a while. Like every couple months I'll have someone on here and I'm like, I cannot believe I've never had this guy on the podcast. I think I actually mean it. I'm sorry. It's inappropriate. You're such a
I'm very
asset and valuable you're a hallmark and a staple in the community. It's ridiculous.
That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, I've always admired you from afar, and I'm glad you're finally on. I really I really mean that. I don't I mean that. Hi, Caleb. Hey, um, I want to get into where are you right now?
So I'm in Mallorca,
Oh,
which
you
is
are. You're
based, yeah.
still you're still there. That okay. I have so many questions for you. Hey, before we get started, let's start with a really just hot topic. And then I want to go back and find out where you came from. When these coach when you come across a Sarah Sigmund's daughter, or when HWPO comes across a Mal O'Brien, or I'll just stay with those two examples, right, of two just phenomenal athletes. I thought Sarah Sigmund's daughter was actually going to be the next Rich Froning. I when she popped on the scene, I was like, holy shit! I can't actually imagine ever being blown away by anyone as much as her who popped on the scene. Um, there's this discussion about whether, hey, did the coach make this person or did this person already have the raw talent? And at some point and then I have some questions around that. Do you have any thoughts on that? On like, hey, did they or is it nature or nurture?
I think there's lots of ways you can go into the discussion.
Right. I know it's really broad and I apologize for that. We'll feel around in the dark here a little.
So I think that there can be a combination of both. Is that if that talent is nurtured well, then they can like achieve their best potential. But there's no denying that the athlete has to have that natural talent in them in order to be able to express it.
Mentally and physically, especially for CrossFit, right?
100%. And I don't think in this. I think probably for all sports actually.
Okay. Let me take it a little dark then and sinister. Can a coach mess it up?
Yes.
So even if you're on the side of, hey, the coaches really don't do shit, let's just make it really extreme, and it's really just the athlete, but that 1% that would get the person to the pinnacle, right? Get them on the podium, requires a coach. Then you still have to give the coach credit for not fucking it up. Is it easy to fuck up an athlete?
So I think that, I suppose it's like kind of how you're defining easy, but I do think that coaches can mess up athletes' careers, and I think that there's probably more times that can happen than actually being able to create the environment for the athlete to exceed.
What I see, this is just my opinion.
Hmm.
When I look at someone like Matt Fraser, I think, okay, he cracked the code, and I do think if you follow his protocol of obsessiveness and sort of he lived in his, what appears to be, if we take his word for it, and I do, a perfect bubble, he cracked the code for being successful. And you may see someone who has the raw talent, like Matt may have seen, hey, I see a person A over here who has the raw talent to do it. They just have to follow this code. You know what I mean? But they might not actually have what's between the ears to follow the code. They're a fifth place athlete when you combine their ability to compete and perform versus what it takes to get into that top 5 crazily rarefied air, right?
Yeah, so I think like Matt cracked the code for him to become successful,
Right.
and I don't think that code can necessarily be translated across to other athletes. Like if you find a mini Matt, then that code may be really applicable to him, but I don't think it's necessarily. I think especially once you start getting into like the top percentages of the sports, that really individualized approach, and people just respond so differently. And I think at that really top end, it does matter because ultimately the games will be separated by seconds, or every second counts as it as it.
Thank you. Yes. What about this? Let me put one more idea to you. And I disagree. The group that I hang out with, I disagree with the majority of them on this subject because on that subject and this next one I'm gonna bring up. What about the fact? What if I said, hey, all champions, all the best CrossFit athletes train alone. And by alone, I mean they don't train in camps. And then someone would say, well, Annie's in a camp and a Rich is in a camp. And but then I would dispute they weren't in a camp. They trained and had training partners, right? So you have one, and Danielle actually kind of talked about it a little bit in her documentary, right? Her and Bethany knew they weren't going to make it. So they did. I don't know if you saw it, but she talks about the COVID games, whatever that was. I think 2020. She basically said, "Hey, Bethany and I knew we weren't going to make it to that top 5, so we basically did all the workouts before Carrie so that she would have a rabbit to chase." Do you think that? And when I think of people who train alone, I think of Matt, and by alone meaning they're not in a camp. I think of people like um, uh, Annie, right? Rich, Matt. These people who the team was assembled around them. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I do agree that, and I think that's the key point you made at the end. Actually, those athletes kind of assemble a group of athletes around them, and I think it's again, all the names you just mentioned, like the best the sport has seen, and so they're able to do that. Then I think there's an argument of the people that they then assembled around them that actually they can then benefit by being in that training group environment, which may not be as personal for them. Like Fraser could go, whatever, I want to train with this person, I want this coach to do this, or whatever it may be, and he kind of tailors this environment. Then actually you've got this group of athletes below Fraser's level that would really benefit just from being that environment.
Right. And then maybe they can harness they can get a couple years of being mentored, and then they can break off and like make those final leaps.
Yeah, exactly. I
Mm.
think that's probably like a certain model. We've obviously had numerous kind of styles of training camp, from the live-in to long periods of time where athletes are here, and I do think it comes down to that the best in the world, and ultimately they have those resources and that ability to put a great team of people around them, so they can have everything very individualized, and then it's actually beneficial for lots of different athletes, basically, to just be a part of that.
Guys, you were looking at John Singleton. If you don't know who he is, then you haven't been paying attention. He's been around forever. He is out in Mallorca, which is a little island off the coast of Spain, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a beautiful island, Spanish island.
And you are not Spanish, but you speak Spanish.
Yeah, I do my best. I'm not quite fluent, but I get by.
I was really impressed looking at your Instagram, watching you speak Spanish. I did not
I
expect that.
the open announcements.
I did not expect that at all. John, where are you originally from?
I'm from England.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. I was gonna put you up in one of the Nordic countries. I was gonna say like you're Finnish or something.
yeah. You're not alone. A lot of people think that. I mean, it's been a long time since I've lived in the UK, and I also have obviously worked with a lot of Scandinavian athletes, have a Scandinavian look. So
And I see you as sort of a very. This is just me judging you. I have no data points for this. This is just, but I see you as very particular and fastidious and like I imagine like Nordic people to be, Finnish people to be. Like I imagine you to have everything in a perfect place. I mean, look at you don't even have the sheetrock up on the wall behind you. It's just
I
a very simple approach to life.
yeah, I suppose it's nice to try to work towards that, but it doesn't always happen.
You still have a little English left in you.
Yeah, I do. A
Yeah,
little organized chaos.
yes, Sevan stereotyping. Yes, I'm very good at judging. Okay, born in England. And how old are you?
I'm 37.
Oh my God, you're so young.
Ah, thank you. That
Crazy.
also, it gets relative because all the athletes now are so much younger. You start being like decades older than the athletes, so it's nice to still be considered young.
And tell me about England. Born and raised there. What was life there like as a kid? Were you an athlete?
Um, so I didn't like school, hated school, and had troubles through the kind of early teenage years, and then actually I found martial arts, and that was like my thing. Like as soon as I found martial arts, all of a sudden I felt like I had a purpose in my life, and that was very transformative for me. Um, so much so, I left school basically as soon as I could, and actually went to go study martial arts in China.
Oh my God! Now, okay, that works.
Yeah,
Tall white man goes to Japan or China. I would have guessed Japan, but okay, I see it. I see it.
yeah. It was Chinese martial arts, and it's exactly like that. It's kind of weird feeling. You become instantly famous just because of the way you look. It's like a weird sensation.
And what martial arts did you do?
So it's Chinese martial arts.
Is that what
So
it's called?
yeah, it's like kind of, as you said, Japan gets known. There's different styles. So you have these Chinese martial arts and the Japanese style, or like each culture has some kind of fighting art that it's been through. And I was very much involved in the Chinese martial arts and like Shaolin and that kind of thing. And it was. I don't know if you've seen Kill Bill,
Yeah.
but
I don't remember anything except someone getting their eyeball pushed out and falling onto the floor, but yes.
yeah, the extreme. It was extreme, but it's from that kind of Shaolin style kung fu.
And why do you think you liked John, why do you think you liked, martial arts? What do you think attracted you to it?
I honestly think it was that the trainer, the coach that I was with, I just really felt like a bond, and it was like a nice. Someone cared about you. You wanted to train to work for something, and I think actually it was that relationship that was very important. I'd done lots of sports. I always played sports, loved kind of sports, but there was like a having this kind of mentor in that like teenage environment. I think was very influential on my life at the early stages.
And what did you like about your coach?
I think he was just passionate about what I could do, what I could become. I mean, the thing about martial arts is like there's no like that you have the fighting side as well with boxing and whatnot, but really the martial arts like you practice through until you die, but it's just there's no competition or anything like that. Um, I think it's just nice having someone believe in you.
Fascinating. So you're a kid, you're a teenager, you don't like school. That's tough because as teenagers, we're supposed to spend every second at the schoolyard behind the chain link fence. And you find someone that believes in you and with something that's also making you better. Did you know that it was making you better quickly? The martial arts was making you a better person?
Yeah, I think you can feel that. I think I quite quickly started to associate the training as well, that you would do some training and just that post workout feeling. And I think this is why I started CrossFit so early, because in our martial arts we would train what was considered hard. It's like you'd push hard, you'd sweat, you'd hurt, you'd do those things. And it's like then you feel good afterwards, like you do in a CrossFit workout. And that was like one of those transitions where it's like I was just training by myself, pushing hard. Then all of a sudden, this thing called CrossFit comes along. It's like actually not just me, but me and a couple of other guys who will now train hard, push hard, and get that same feeling together.
It's interesting. My kids do a lot of martial arts almost daily, and one of the byproducts of it that I never expected is um, at 9 years old, they've and 7 years old, they've experienced more intimacy than I bet you most adults will experience in their whole life with other human beings. They basically spend hours every day rolling around with other kids. And when I first signed my son up, the first 3 months, he refused to go out on the mats to do any sparring because he didn't want to touch any of the other adults or kids. And I was like, yeah, hey, dude, that's a healthy feeling. But now their comfortableness in their own body and how they make other people feel when they're around, it's wild. It's already in them. They're so safe in their own body. Yeah, it is kind of it's like if you get with a group of guys who push really hard in the martial arts, it is sort of like supercharged CrossFit, because you know that you have that shared misery that brings you closer together, but you're also like right in their space. You feel their movements.
Yeah, and also I don't think you can replicate that intensity. You know, when you're standing like facing off with someone, you know, be it whatever, boxing, judo, whatever it may be. There's something about, you know, that first set of adrenaline, which lasts like a super short time, you know, a few seconds. Then all of a sudden you're standing there and some guy's trying to hit you.
Right.
You're like, you've got nothing. I mean,
Right.
that's when you really feel like that intensity. Obviously, in a workout, we kind of have that bit of self control. You know, like we can back off. Like I'm not feeling good. Well, you know, I back off the pace or whatever it may be. But you know, when someone's trying to punch you in the face, you don't have that same option, and that's like that feeling of you know, that's I think when you feel really raw when you're working and getting that feeling.
And and present, right? So um it's that instant presence that you get also that maybe some people get from skydiving, or you might get if you push yourself really hard in a CrossFit workout. You get, if you are fighting someone, you go from, all your thoughts go away. You're
Yeah.
immediately like, okay,
Yes.
here we go. I'm out here in the real world. And the irony is the contrast right before my kids fight. I take them to a lot of tournaments, is they're completely trapped in their head, right? They're in fucking panic mode. They're sweating. But then as soon as it's 3, 2, 1, go, kumbach, it's fucking on. That all goes away. And then after the match, they're happy as a kite.
Yeah, I must. This is one thought I've always had because I've never like been a coach to any fighters or high level fighters or anything like that. And I think that, you know, it's hard enough watching an athlete compete on the floor, let alone watching someone you train or even your kids go into a fight. I mean, that must like elicit a lot of emotion, just being like having to watch someone you care about so much go through that.
You really tight, like you catch yourself tightening body parts that you didn't even know you had, right? When your
I,
kids go out there.
yeah, I can only imagine. I imagine that sensation's heightened in the, you know, in the fighting world as well, because you like someone you care about is, you know, can be getting hurt really badly. You know, the worst thing that happens on a CrossFit event, and despite injuries or whatever it may be, you know, they just don't finish first, or which it's not as bad as coming off with bad injuries.
Um, Anna. My girl Hannah's doing the crown this week with John Singleton. She's 17 and coaches the kids class. She's had her level 1 for 3 years. So you have an event this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And well, Hannah just won the swim event, so she did really well.
Oh, are you at the are you oh, the event's actually going on as we speak?
The event is going on. We just we're in between events now. So yeah, the crown is going on.
Wow, it's crazy. I bet you are there CrossFit event competitions going on every weekend somewhere?
I would think so. Europe's pretty hot for CrossFit competitions. This is slightly, you know, we actually tried to move away from calling it a competition. So we actually wanted to make it into more of an experience.
Are you part one of the organizers of this event?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's director, or you know, it's our event. It's like the
okay.
program's event and something that we've put on.
And that's the name of your program, the program.
Exactly, just
Okay.
without.
Okay. Okay, go on. Sorry, I apologize. So you're trying not to call it a competition?
Yeah, an experience.
Okay.
There's a bit of history to the event. We ran an event in 2019. It was called the Comp, and we really felt that there was an event missing in the CrossFit space just for you know, the next generation, because we'd see it at the games. You know, we'd have athletes go to the games or different competitions, and unfortunately, they're just a bit of a sideshow because of the nature of everyone wants to watch the elites. You know, we see it in the Masters division or whatever that may be. So, like, okay, let's put on this event, and we put on the Comp in 2019, and it was really successful. And like success being defined as the fact the athletes just loved it. You had teens coming from literally all over the world. I mean, we were shocked by where they came from: South Africa, from the States, all these different places. And honestly, it was just so great seeing them get together. We're like, hey, we have to do this in next year. Unfortunately, that was COVID year, and so we then couldn't run. We're like, okay, when can we put this back on? Last year was supposed to be the first time of the comp again. We'd have everything confirmed, and then a couple of months before, we got a message from our equipment supplier. Basically, they were like, look, we're going to have to charge you 20,000 euros to ship to the island. And we're like, we had everything agreed, we had everything planned, everything budgeted, we just can't do this. And it's just sitting thinking about what we do because we want to cancel. And there's one thing I've always wanted to do, and that was back in the day, what you filmed in the Lake Tahoe with Rogue versus Again Faster, and I just loved it. I love those kind of old school events. I mean, if you watch back through, the events they're doing are just so random. Like one guy's flipping a log and then running, and the logs are different sizes. But honestly, no one really cares. It's just like they're there having experience. And an actual thing I found interesting is that sometimes you guys didn't even cover the event. You just put up like a leaderboard afterwards. But I actually really loved that because it became about these guys being in two different houses, throwing down, having a good time. And I was like, I really want to do something like that. And this is kind of where the idea of the crown was born.
I wasn't listening well, so I'm going to have a question that's going to expose me for that. But give me 1 second. Anna, the media has been great. The Fitness Collective has done a great job. Anna, could you put the YouTube page in the chat, or Caleb, so people can check it out? So what distinguishes, John, the difference between this event? What's this event called again?
We call it's the program crown. Is what
the program crown. What distinguishes it exactly between a competition and the program crown? There's still a winner, right?
There is a winner. So there is a winner. However, it's like. So it's a good question. Like today, for example.
Okay, good. So it wasn't that I wasn't listening. Okay, good. Okay, I feel better. I feel.
Yeah, searching for clarity in the distinguishing factor. But like as an example, this morning we went and did canyoning. Not expecting to know what canyoning is, but basically, like we did some jumping off cliffs. The guys were abseiling, and they were just doing it all as one group. And it's more that the intention of the competition, it was different to an intention of a normal competition in the sense like actually what we want these guys to do is end the weekend being friends rather than having this balanced fitness test where you find the fittest teen on earth.
Do these sort of social fitness events happen between the workouts or after?
Actually through both. So this year we're introducing some team workouts within the individual competition. So they don't know it yet, but tomorrow they're going to be put into teams and they'll have to do a workout together. And it's going to impact their individual score. And obviously, in a classic CrossFit competition, you couldn't put like Fraser or Froning together all of a sudden, and they have to do it. So we can kind of play about with it a bit more. Those ideas, exactly like the.
So you're not as concerned about it being fair. Someone might be like, "Hey, it's not my fault. I was on the losing team," and you're like, "Hey, man, this is part of this competition. There is that roll of the dice."
Yes,
that you have to accept. And when you accept that, that takes maybe a little. That sets the intimate. I was going to say takes a little bit of the stress off, but you haven't used that word. I'll stick with the word you're using. Takes off a little bit of the individual and makes it more of a community feel between the athletes, a bonding experience.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Because we know these guys already, fit. They're the best teenagers in the world, and we, they don't need to come here to prove that. They've proved that in other places. So it's like, actually, how can we create an experience for them that's just kind of epic and fun? We've run teen camps through over the years as well. And one of the things that also amazes me at teen camps is even now, like some of the athletes like 25 years old, and they came when they were like 18, and they're still in communication and friends and talking about CrossFit. And it's just been really nice to be a part of that. And so the Crown's like being a part of that, but maybe on a bit of a bigger scale. It takes a bit more organization work than just doing a training camp.
How many athletes are there?
12.
And what's the age range?
It's from this year from 16 to 19. So we put a limit that they have to be under 20.
So you're oh, it's cool. Same amount of boys and girls? When God, look at that guy. Look at that redhead.
Yeah, those guys. I mean,
Jeez.
they are phenomenal athletes. Like, so one thing we're going to do, I can maybe give a bit of a hint for tomorrow. One thing we thought would be cool this year is so there's
Sorry, John. Where is this happening?
this is like in Mallorca, Spain. In we do it in a so we also rent out this in Spain. It's like an old castle that we've rented out, and we're also like super lucky to partners. We've got like Nike and GoWard on board.
Uh huh.
They've been great, and like Nike have a big presence at the house, and they do it out. I mean, you got to imagine these teenage kids walk in, they open up these lockers, everything's individualized for them. Like we have like Debbie, who's from Nike, she's there helping out if there's any issues. So it's like just a really nice experience. It again, I think through my history of being in CrossFit, I've seen events that I really liked and wanted to put that all together in the crown. And one of those was the Invitational. When the athletes went to the Invitational, they were so looked after. They, got flown there, got picked up in taxis, didn't have to worry about a thing. And that's what we've done for the crown. So we actually pay for the athletes to be flown over. We pick them up in a car. We take them to the finca. We have a chef, Lizanne, at the finca. And so we have all these things together just to make it a cool event.
Are all of these people on the program?
No,
No. Oh
no,
God, I
it's
have so many questions. Go back to what you were saying before, though. Sorry, I took you off track. You were going to say something about you were going to give us a hint about tomorrow.
yeah. So there's a specific event in 2019. What we thought it would be really cool is to go, okay, you've got Froning in 2014. How fit is he relative to these like under 20-year-olds in 2024? So one of the events tomorrow is actually going to be an event that Froning did at the games,
Oh,
and to be able to and we're going to replicate it to be able to compare the times and those things. And so it's a bit of a fun. And actually, Pedro from Coffee Wads and Pods,
yes.
he wanted
Thank you for saying his name right, Pedro White. Yes, thank
I
you.
like to call him Peter, but he was like, if speak to Sevan, always call me Pedro. So,
Thank you. I would have not had any idea who you were talking about if you didn't say it right.
um, and he wants to call it like kids versus goats, with the idea being, throning the goat.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. I
I
feel like
I,
I explain it though, so I'm like,
I absolutely love it. Yeah, yeah. I know. A very interesting. Pedro. Pedro. Um, so you're in. We're gonna get back to the house and this. And how you're able to take such good care of them in a second. So you're in China, and how long were you doing martial arts in China?
so I lived there just over a year. I actually started at the Beijing Sports University, and then I went to a smaller province where the Shaolin Temple is, called Henan, and trained at one of the martial arts schools there. Which, in terms of like experiences of youth training, I mean that is just craziness to see.
What their kids do?
Yes, it's phenomenal.
It's Cirque du Soleil meets martial arts shit, right? It's from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's also the vastness of it. So, like in China, for example, obviously there's a lot of poverty, huge population, and like a step to getting a formal education, a lot of parents can afford to send their kids to these like martial arts schools. And a very popular place to go is Shaolin. And what will happen after they finish their studies? It's very likely they can get a job in the army or working security, so it kind of guarantees them a future. But what happens is you end up with like hundreds of thousands of kids in this one town just practicing martial arts. And you got to imagine it's hundreds of thousands of kids just practicing martial arts in a small town in China. And we used to get up every morning and do like a run. It was like very common. They play this like communist music. You get up,
My
go
favorite.
for
My
a run.
favorite.
Yeah. And anyway, you run down the street in this line. Like we were at a relatively small school, maybe like 100, 200 people training. Some of the schools would have thousands of kids. And so you'd run down the road, and then like down the other road, there'd be another school. And so you'd actually have to wait sometimes minutes for this line of like kids running in the morning to pass before you could then cross the road and go by. When like looking back now, it's been so long, so I suppose I've even had thoughts of that time, but it was quite an eye opening experience.
It's interesting. People who have not been to India or China are there's a shift in consciousness you have there because you're seeing a totally different experiment with human beings run there, right? It's a
Yes.
completely different way of organizing civilization, and they're doing their own social experiment while we do ours here in the United States. But the one in India and China are they're worth seeing. I mean, it's cool that you were there for a year. You get to see some shit that like people can't even imagine. Like I visited this slum in India that was it was a slum because it was just made of mud, but it was very clean. The people were clean. There were over 1 million people in the slum, and it was a recycling slum. And I remember like there would be a pile of pen caps that was like 20 stories high. And then over here, there would just be bottle caps. And it's like, yeah, when you have over 1 billion people, you can do some pretty trippy shit with them. And their experiment's totally different than ours. It's cool that you got to see that. And I imagine, I know what you mean. Like you can't even explain how many kids you saw running by. It doesn't even make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, exactly.
Like it would make the news here in the United States if that many kids got together and ran.
Yeah, it just close, like stop all traffic and close
Yeah.
things down.
But it's a daily event. You saw it every morning there.
Yeah, it was just so common.
Yeah, it's so cool. And of course those kids, we all know them like from Instagram and from media, right? You see the Shaolin kids, 7-year-old kid standing on one leg with his other leg point on a
Yeah,
on a
exactly.
pole, and he has to stand there for a half an hour with his leg pointed at the sky, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then you got to think there's a small town in China with tens of thousands of kids who can do that. They just kind of select these, the stars of the show, who come out and do those events.
And why did you leave? Did you think that at some point did you think you would end up staying in China forever, just completely immerse yourself and sort of maybe even become like a martial arts monk?
Yeah, so looking when I when I first went, there was no question in my mind that all I wanted to do for my whole life was dedicate myself to martial arts. It was like quite clear to me. Um, and it was hard, because at the school I was in, there was no other English people. So I think just communication. It's also hard because this is like, I don't know, 20 years ago. And so there, the internet, for example, it wasn't like I could just get a smartphone. I had to walk to an internet cafe. If I wanted to call my mum, I'd have to put in like, go get a call card, scratch off the back, and then dial the phone. So like the communication, it was like, um, it just all got a bit intense. And I think after about a year, I was like, this is not my culture. I just stand out everywhere I go, and actually maybe there's more to life than just martial arts. And I think that kind of set the seed of coming back and studying as well.
How did your body? How old were you?
I was like 18.
Okay, so you were like in the sort of that section, that pinnacle of puberty too. So your body like was ready for great adaptation, right?
Yes, yeah, and also with food, sleep, all of those things. Like, I definitely wouldn't handle it as well now.
And how did your body composition change? Did you like what happened to your body with its capabilities and its aesthetic from that training?
I actually think that I probably ended up coming like quite malnutritioned. So
Mm.
I can tend to get quite skinny. And I think being over there, I just kind of wasted away a bit because of nutrition, like quite high volume of training. So, it probably wasn't like optimal training. So, but no, I didn't, it wasn't like I all of a sudden became like super jacked and responded really well to it. I think I probably need to be in a different environment for that to have happened.
And did your martial arts get better? Did you see yourself getting better, improving?
Yeah, yeah, you become a lot more refined. There's a lot of in the Chinese martial arts, there's a lot of repetition of movements, and with that repetition of movements, you just get better and better and better. And they work on flexibility a lot, and so you can see those improvements.
And your time there comes to an end, and then what do? You get on a plane from Beijing and you head where?
Yeah, so I head back to the UK, and that's where I start studying to become an osteopath.
Mm.
So like kind of like physiotherapy, osteopathy. And that's like, so my degree started in 2006.
When I think of a physical, sorry, not a physical therapist. When I think of a chiropractor, my idea of them has changed. I used to think it was just someone like who cracks you and stuff, but then as the years have gone on, especially as we went through COVID, chiropractors are people who think that they have this knowledge that the body can heal itself. That if you get out of the body, is an osteopath the same thing? What is an osteopath? Is that their
Uh, you know, honestly, it really depends on the practitioner. Like you
right?
kind of get this title, and then you can practice osteopathy, but really, it's so vast in terms of how people look at things. Some people go super alternative, and some people go very like classical medicine.
They have all the gadgets with the red lights and all that stuff, and some
It,
people are
it,
like, "Hey, just go sit in the sun and naked."
exactly.
Osteopath is a system. I'm going to skip that word of alternative medicine. Osteopath is a system of medicine that emphasizes physical manipulation of the body's muscles, tissues, and bones. In most countries, practitioners of osteopathy are not medically trained and referred to as osteopath. Oh, they hate you. Wikipedia hates you.
Yeah, Wikipedia is not a fan of my 4 years of work.
Yeah. What did you learn there? Like in a nutshell, in your 4 years of becoming an osteopath?
you know Probably like nutshell, how to work with people, I think, would be like, or starting that journey of how to work with people, because it probably taken like a lot more years of development through there. But yeah, just working with patients. So the big thing, we're in a clinic in London, and one of the things about the clinic in London is you get a lot of people coming through, and it's a reduced price clinic. So you see all types of conditions, people, experiences, and I think that was like quite eye opening.
So the martial arts journey started. You found a coach who believed in you, and you saw the power of belief. Osteopath is okay. I'm gonna then you go into the martial arts and you work on yourself extremely diligently in China for a year. Then you come back, and then that chapter is how to work, kind of the complete opposite. How to work with other people, but also really on the level of their like really into them. You weren't looking at books and being like, okay, this, and this. Okay, we're gonna have to remove your arm and one of your testicles. Yours was like, hey, how can I? Yours is more of a how can I help you help yourself?
Yes, and that's probably where it's kind of, because you're not like going into the medical world, so you enter in this grey area of a patient presents all these symptoms. So how do you start working with this like kind of more grey area? It's not like someone's chopped their arm off, we need to stop them bleeding. It's like, someone's had pain in their back for 6 months, and there's so many things that it could be that are causing that pain.
Okay, yeah. If, the first thing I would prescribe, I'm a doctor of something, and the first thing if someone wanted to has any problems, the first thing I prescribe is 100 burpees for time.
Well,
You want to, oh,
yeah,
you want to chop your penis off? No problem. Do 100 burpees for time. We'll talk immediately afterwards. Oh, you're upset because someone threw a rock at your car? Well, do 100 burpees for times. Oh, I'll help you with that. I'm really good with mental illness. I'm extremely good. I've cracked the code. Throw your phone away and do 100 burpees. You can use that, by the way, if you want.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So you finish that's my political commentary that I have to slip in every once in a while. Where in there, what are you doing during those 4 years for your training?
Yes, this is where I found CrossFit during that time. So like 2007.
Oh God, you've been around forever. You really have. Jesus.
Yeah, and it was back in the day. There was one CrossFit gym in London at that time, and it was so far away. Poor students couldn't train.
You watched the little 240 video of the guy doing bar muscle ups, and you had to watch it. It was like 5 seconds long. You had to watch it over and over and over. And you're like, you remember that video from
I don't
2007? Oh,
I don't remember that specific one, but we were all in like CrossFit Journal. We were like zone, but then all of a sudden paleo was coming in. So it's like, okay, actually, do we go like paleo? And just trying to gain all information as we can. And at the same time, I was with Yami, who I know you've spoken with. So Yami
Huge,
T.
huge respect for him. Huge respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yami and I went to the British School of Osteopathy. We started together in like 2006. Basically spent those 4 years together. He was the guy. So I was still boxing at the time. I'd moved more into boxing training, and then Yami kind of goes, "Oh, you're not fit." And I was like, "Well, I'm pretty fit," and that's kind of how it started. We went to a Globo gym with another friend, and I think we did like filthy 150 or some workout that needed like a ridiculous number of stations, and we're running around like idiots in this Globo gym, and then it just kind of carried on from there.
And you were hooked.
Yes.
This this event that you have with these the program crown,
Mm.
and it's going on now in Mallorca. How do you get how does that work? How are you able to provide for your sponsors so that they found it a good idea to join you, Nike and GoWad? What do you tell them, or what do you provide them?
Yeah, so um, so with GoWard, for example, we have a very good relationship. Like I'm very well with Tebow, and really
That's the owner, a guy named Tebow?
yeah, there's three owners, and Tebow's the CEO.
Okay.
And
That's a
so
great name, Tebow.
yeah, um, really the vision is this: that we want to provide something to support the next generation, and so they're all in. And then with Nike being a bigger organization, it gets a bit more complex. But the essence is the same, that they shared this same vision of like supporting the next generation of athletes. And that's really what the remit is. And then through our training program as well, the program, that's where the bulk of everything comes.
So you subsidize it through your training program too. For you, it's a large
It's
reinvestment into your program.
yeah, like it makes me reevaluate starting passion projects
Mm.
because we we committed to it, so we want to see it through, and we also want it to be like super high quality. Um, and we've kind of built this thing as a passion project, and now we're like, okay, how do we make this sustainable? And that's really the next journey for us, because we're not the size of mayhem. Hard work pays off. We're just not the size of those guys, and that with that comes more financial limitations. And so we're like, okay, we love this event, we want to make it work. Um, and now what would really the next step is going, how do we make this sustainable, so we don't just throw loads of money at it, and the return, there has to be some financial return at some point.
Sleeky, my primary care physician is a doctor of osteopathy. He also has his level 1. He CrossFits, and he's a Christian, and he prays with me at appointments. All right. Please pray for me. I want more good jokes. I need more jokes. Thank you. Tebow, is that how you spell the guy's name? Tebow? Tebow? Tebow is the man. Is he English guy?
He's French.
French. Oh, okay. I it's weird. It's weird taking money for people for your projects because you want to provide them something, right? You're like, oh shit, they're giving me like it's like a client, right? They give you money and you're like, oh God, I got to provide you something. And so
Yes.
someone like you want to do this project and it's all good and it's good and it's fun, but as soon as GoWad gives you money, right, or offers some sort of support, you're like the pressure's on. Like
Yeah.
I don't like I always feel like I don't want to be indebted to my sponsors. I want my sponsors to be indebted to me. So I understand also that feeling that it makes you have to level up, right?
Yes. And it's also like you want, because you're going, okay, I've got this vision, this is what I want to try and achieve, and to be able to get them a benefit as well within this vision then becomes very important.
Yeah. You almost want them to say no so you can be like, all right, I tried.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that might actually be easier.
But Nike sent someone out. They even sent out a representative.
Yeah, so we have Debbie who's over, and she's been great. Like their branding is just on point. So we created this crown brand, and then Nike were like, okay, we love this, let's roll with it. And then they're kind of like, they got cushions at the house, as you saw in that video. They just they amplify the experience in a way that, even through even without money, but also without knowledge, we couldn't do.
Um, I want to go back to the program again. Can anyone sign up for the program?
Yeah.
It's for everyone. It's not just for athletes.
No, so I think it's for anyone involved in CrossFit, from that beginning level all the way up to the elites.
And how long has it been around?
Like 2014, 15, somewhere around that.
Oh, the program 1 designed for athletes who want to compete. Program 2, the plan followed by our games athletes. The program Power for athletes who want to become better, faster, stronger. It's a beautiful website. The program 60 for people who love to train but don't have much time. The program Masters. The box program, start to finish programming. Oh, so that's even for affiliates.
Yeah, exactly.
You meet Yami, and you guys are training together, and obviously both of you have found success
Mm.
in the space and with athletes. And when do you decide you're going to start coaching CrossFit?
So I still was in like the athlete phase. I really wanted to be an athlete, but at the same time,
Me too. I wanted to too.
yeah, I think I think a lot of places, like, there's that, it's just fun being the athlete. It's like it's a fun place to be in. I realized, so with the osteopathy and with where CrossFit was, I mean, CrossFit back in those days was just a very different world. And so, you'd have your competitors, but you'd be kind of like showing them some version of a pull up, and they'd be showing you something that they learned. It was just a different world. And so you'd kind of be athlete coaching at the same time. And it was in like 2014. I was still doing some competitions and different things. And that's when I made the decision. I was like, you know what? I'm actually I feel like I can be more successful just on this coaching side and just dedicating there. And I didn't want to be this mix of coach athlete. I just wanted that clarity between the two.
Were you teaching at an affiliate at that time?
Yeah. So it was actually, for a while I was living in Argentina and at CrossFit Toluca there. And then in Mallorca, I first started in a place called CrossFit Mallorca. So that's where those are the affiliates that I was based out of.
What a trip. So you went to the UK and you were there 4 years, and then from there you went to Argentina?
Yeah, there's some space in between, but I actually
Did you
qualified.
chase a girl there, John?
I was with a girl there, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the only way you go from the UK to Argentina. Crazy.
Yeah, but they honestly, like, this was what's been fun. Like Pat Sherwood, he's done his like trips down in South America as well. But seeing the unity of CrossFit, where CrossFit's
Oh,
popular.
yeah, Pat chased a girl to Colombia.
Yeah,
That's right, I forgot about that. Oh,
on his
crazy.
motorbike, he did like this
Oh,
whole
right.
whole trip.
I got in
Uh,
trouble for that. I used, affiliate money to buy those motorbikes. I got in a little trouble for that, yeah, a little slap on the wrist.
um, so and the CrossFit community there, that was a nice thing. Actually, is the nice thing about CrossFit. It was like, you go in the UK, you go to Argentina. Obviously not as much in Asia because it's not as popular there, but there's this common language that you get into the box and everyone understands. Okay, I'm going to do this workout. We're going to suffer, have a good time afterwards, and it's going to be good. So I really loved that time in Argentina.
And then from there, do you go straight to Mallorca?
Exactly. So then I'm kind of, and that's where the last 10 years have been. Probably, like, even though I've traveled a lot, they've probably been more consistent than those previous 10 years, where there are a lot more changes.
What a trip that you live in Mallorca.
Yeah.
God, the good old days. Good find,
Ian
Caleb.
Wittenberg. Yeah, okay, Ian, of course. That's who
Yeah.
he was. I've not seen Ian in a long time.
I even remember he had Ian do. I remember one of the hotel room workouts they did. He had Ian do 10 burpees on the minute for 20 minutes in a dirty hotel room. So, um, so just I say this with no bias. I say this with all sincerity. Why do you stay in Mallorca? Isn't it pretty isolated in terms of running? I mean, in terms of just running a business,
Yes. Um,
or is that a
so
benefit?
I think it's a bit of a benefit. So the first reason for moving out here was like, it's just an amazing place. But also it's really good for the athletes, like great training environment. We can run, we can swim. I've always loved the outdoor events at the games and games training. And so, we can kind of do that stuff all year round.
Is it what's it like there? Does it rain there? What's it like there?
Yeah, we get rain. It's not, it maybe gets like too hot in the summer, but it's pretty sure, like you'll see in the videos from the Crown. Like today, we were in the water, so they did like an open water swim, and it was cold but manageable. Uh,
Is there a winter there?
yeah, there's a winter. It can get snow. There's some like relatively low mountains, but it can get snow, and the summer's the hardest actually because it gets so hot.
But athletes need to train in the heat also, right? I mean, especially if you're headed down to Texas.
Yeah. There's a lot of evidence actually as well that like the training in the heat can have some really good adaptations for the athletes as well.
Yeah, Mallorca is nice and beautiful. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I haven't seen one bad picture from the place.
Yeah.
I wish I could have visited Mallorca when I was in Barcelona a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
A great question. What is so hot? Do you have a Fahrenheit you could give us Americans?
Fahrenheit. So it's like I can do a quick translation.
Or you could do Celsius. Let Caleb do
Like
something. He feels bad when the
yeah,
guests
from
take his job. Sorry.
40 degrees Celsius. I mean, translating
Oh,
Celsius to Fahrenheit is like a
that
crazy equation.
that sounds really hot. 40. Oh, okay. And humid.
Yeah, it can get quite humid here. That's often the hard thing. It's not like a dry heat.
Yeah. Okay, that's not so bad. There's some. I mean, like I don't. Have you ever been to Phoenix, Arizona?
No, but it's a certain place to get over 50. No.
It just becomes oppressive. Like don't even want to keep your eyes open when you're outside.
Yeah, I mean, even at 40 here, I'm not the biggest fan of keeping my eyes open. I prefer to have a nap.
Yeah. You don't really have a lot of pigment in your skin. You don't seem
No,
adequately armed
no,
for.
this is true. I could do with some other genes for living in Mallorca, probably.
Do you have one of those old people hats? Do you have a sombrero? Do you have a hat with the big round?
A funny thing.
Uh huh.
I was speaking on messages. You actually got me like the 2015, 2016 games. You know those big rogue hats.
Yeah.
I think you felt sorry for me because obviously when it was in Carson, it was like just freaking.
I saw you were translucent, and I got you one.
Yeah,
Crap.
yeah. I think I've still got it actually.
God, I'm a good dude.
Yeah, that was a very nice gesture.
Wow. Or I was just concerned you were going to die out there, and I didn't want the insurance
Right.
for CrossFit to go
Yeah,
up.
I
Maybe.
think that's the thing.
Oh, I've heard of this place. Ibiza seems worse. Ibiza's that party island? Is that near the Mallorca?
Yeah, so there's three main islands in the group of islands, and Ibiza's like it's considered the party island as well. There's like a lot of big like summer parties and stuff there.
It's like a place where young adults go and just get crazy.
Yeah, like Conor McGregor was here with his huge yacht partying. It's that kind of place.
Wow. Okay. Oh, I had no idea.
But like a lot of DJs will come over. It can be a very wealthy place as well. Like a lot of yachts come here because it's Mediterranean, nice place to be, good access.
How many days is the program Crown?
4,
And what day are they in?
2.
And what about this? When they leave, will they be beat up?
No, that's one of the things that we wanted to make as well. That it's not just a beat down.
Will they be sore?
Maybe because of a bit of the intensity, but I don't think they'll be super sore.
And how many events will they do?
Um, it's a bit of a mix between team and individual, but I think there's 7 individual events.
Okay, so it's a healthy. It's how many events do the teens do at the games? Do the teens do? Do you know?
I don't know how many they did last year or in the previous years, actually.
And the elite do like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes they got up even higher than that, but yeah.
Do you think that's good? I was just watching the trailer for Every Second Counts, and there's a line in there where Tony Budding says, "Hey, man, this has to be a brutal event in order to test the fittest." Is that true? Does it have to be a brutal event to test the fittest?
I don't know. I mean, I have so many discussions around this, like what is optimal, and I think it adds into like a whole world of discussion around that.
Even I don't remember what the times were for Every Second Counts, but I want to say all the workouts were, let's say, under 5 minutes,
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
But they still got the shit kicked out of them.
yeah, yeah.
Right? Because they were competing against other people. They were, like, pushing themselves into, dark spots.
I mean, man, when you watch some of the old footage, like, it's just fun to watch. Like, there's not much technique involved. These guys were just like, it was like whoever suffers the most can win, and it's fun to watch.
Um, y do you so you I'm picking up from you that you don't think it needs to be as hard, or is hard not the right word?
Yeah, hard's. I don't think hard's the right word. I mean, you give these athletes anything, and they'll make it hard.
Right. They'll go faster.
Yeah, they'll go faster, they'll go heavier, they'll try and do whatever to win. So I think that's just the innate quality of these athletes. They're so competitive, they want to win, and therefore they will go hard.
Is it worth time even spending, um, worrying about those types of things? Is that stuff just left for people like me and my friends who make shows out of it? And if you're a coach and an athlete, it's like, I see the workout, I have to do it. Like, the criticism is not like, what I have two choices. I can stop doing CrossFit and pivot to basketball, or I just put my head down and handle my business.
Yes, it's a very good question, and I think like different people are in different camps. I definitely have an opinion on like what I think could help grow the sport. Um,
Oh, as opposed to what's the best test?
oh, also, yeah, also, what's the best test? I kind of think they start coming into the same world because it's like, do you just have this weekend test? What's a balanced test? How you, I mean, it even comes down to just this definition of how you're defining the fittest on earth. Like, what is the definition of that? And you go, okay, well, there's no real. The definition's so broad that it makes it hard to kind of bottle it down into its essence in that testing. And then you go, how does that get tested throughout the year? Is it better just to make it into a showcase so the sport can grow and provide more opportunities? I think it just opens up this whole other discussion.
Do you think that has there ever been a popular sport that's an exercise sport? By popular, I mean from the um, uh, viewing standpoint. Like, no, I don't know anyone who's ever watched a marathon. Um, that's obviously just exercising, right? You're just running. The javelin, that's I don't know, the shot put. Is there a single sport that's ever like transcended itself that's just a exercise sport? You know what I mean? As opposed to a
The sort of viewership of things like Tour de France or
the Tour de
running,
France.
there's lots of these sports.
Crazy participatory sport though too, right?
Well, yes, but
Yeah.
I think when you start comparing, it's like often the team sports or fighting sports tend to be like more viewer based. But
And
that's
those
participation.
aren't exercise sports though. Do you know what I mean by exercise sports? Like soccer, I don't think of as an exercise sport. It's like a legit, like there's a ball and a field and a team and
Yeah, I do know what you mean, but I'm not sure the relevance of the like kind of where that fits
question
into the picture. Yeah,
that that people just don't want to watch people exercise unless they're intimately involved in exercising. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? That's like Tough Mudder and Spartan Race, and unless you're participating in them, you give two fucks. Whereas for some reason, soccer and football and these other like giant sports, um, I guess I guess if F1 racing can be popular, anything can be popular. Dudes going 200 miles an hour sitting on a fucking engine with wheels going around a track.
yeah, or golf. You know,
Right,
I
right,
think that
right.
I think that's where the question becomes interesting. I think this is why High Rocks has been so interesting to follow over the last few years because what is High Rocks? Like basically, it's a CrossFit workout. They kind of standardized, and all of a sudden, it's booming with
Is it? It is.
huge.
It is booming,
There's no. I mean, it's just booming. I mean, it's booming.
especially in Europe too, right? Especially in Europe.
Yeah, so it started in Europe, and I think that's probably maybe one of the reasons why, just logistically for them. The same reason for CrossFit's often focused in the US, because logistically it's just easier for them to do stuff there. But the participation, number of their affiliates are growing, and all I think they're doing is using this infrastructure that CrossFit has built over the last 2 decades, and they kind of can get this quick access on it because it's just another outlet for all these people who love CrossFit.
I mean, I think that's what happened with Spartan Race and Tough Mudder, to be honest. You have all these CrossFitters, they had sitting around with their thumb in their butt, and they're like, fuck, what can I do to express my fitness? And so they could be harvested from the CrossFit community. Is that what you're saying? Like, High Rocks is a great place for CrossFitters to finally do something and express, and it's very safe, right? Because it's all by safe. I mean, it's not, I don't mean safe like from being injured. I mean, safe like as in, okay, I can go there and just do this sport. I'm good. I've done all these things in my affiliate for the last 5 years. I'm competent in them. I can
Yeah,
participate.
you're just getting so many discussion points around this. But one of the things that's interesting about High Rocks to me is CrossFit has openly had, like, see, it's like when Greg was back in the helm, you know, like whenever I had a conversation with him, he was amazing. Like, he made you feel like the only person in the room, and so much respect for what he created. He would openly also say, he didn't want the games, and so he had the person in charge of this company who didn't want the games to happen. And now you've had like the current CEO saying as well that we're not going to put as much monetary focus on the games.
Or I think it's even fair to say he talked about like, hey, we may be pooling a lot of the resources from the games very soon.
And he did, and so it's like what the discussions that you go into what he actually meant through those things. But let's go, okay, it's not like, okay, we're all in on the games, we're all in on the sports side of this. Whereas High Rocks have gone, they're very focused on the sports side of this, on big participation.
The sport started first, and then the affiliate came from that, as opposed to CrossFit, the affiliate came first, and then the sport. Okay, I'm feeling you.
This is a really interesting. This is what a lot of people have been saying for years, that actually, if you focus on the sports, that a lot of good things follow. And you had Hunter on the show, like what Hunter's like fire on your show. But one of the things I thought he's very right about was he was talking. You had a caller come on, live caller, and Hunter basically made this point that a lot of people are going to get fitter, are going to get better, are going to get healthier just by practicing whatever sport that may be. So you're going to get huge benefit for a general population's health in general because they're doing something active. When it gets so specific, it's really hard to know if it's going to be a lot better for them doing CrossFit, a lot better for them doing High Rocks, a lot better for them doing cycling. The specifics of that get a lot more complex. But on a big picture, if they're just being active, then that's like great for this general population. And actually, by focusing on the sports, they're getting huge participation, a huge amount of people training for this. And they haven't focused on what's happening within the affiliates. They've just focused on their kind of North Star of growing the sport.
And to be frank, their media is atrocious.
Yeah. And I think, they're new to the game, but they're just, I think to get hundreds of thousands, like, so the Open, for example, has hundreds of thousands of people competing in this online event. Whereas High Rocks now is going to get hundreds of thousands of people this year competing at live events, which I think is a whole nother level of participation.
If you could tweak, what would you do with the games? What would you do with not even the game specifically? What would you do with the sport? Would you tweak it?
I think the first thing to look at is like extending the season. And the reason I say this, I think it's very interesting to watch what happens like in the media, the conversations that I have as well, is like as soon as 24.1 started, actually everyone gets very focused on what's happening, who wins the Open, who like gets no rep to whatever. But it's very focused on the sport.
Yeah.
But from August to 24.1, you've maybe had one window in there where it was like Tia versus Laura at Rogue, where you had this one storyline. Everything else has been flat. People talk about, whatever they want and try and make these things. But actually, if you had regular touch points throughout the year of something that was relevant to the season, I think that it would allow the sport to grow naturally, allow more conversations, allow more media focus on it. You've got to think like High Rocks now has like an event every weekend. Something's happening every weekend. It might not be one of their majors or whatever it may be, but there's stuff happening every weekend. So there's certain conversations happening every weekend, and I think the momentum that's created through that is just huge.
How long has High Rocks been around?
I think they started in 2017, and interestingly, one of the founders, I'm not sure if he's part of it anymore, but it was actually media at the CrossFit Games back in the day.
Oh, what's his name?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Oh, I think I had the founder on the show. I think he was the founder. I had a guy from High Rocks on the show. I want to say he was the founder.
Yeah, Christian.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, but I think there were a few of them. I don't know how. I don't know. They also have like, I think it's like Swiss-owned company now. They have some big backing from that one.
So you're saying, uh, I'm going to take it to the really extreme. What you're saying is the week after the games, there could be an event somewhere in wherever the fuck you want on planet Earth, where the winner of that event qualifies for the CrossFit Games the following year, or qualifies for the semifinals, and then 2 weeks after that, you have an event somewhere else in the world, and somehow that event is integrated with some sort of reward, some sort of benefit to the athlete who wins it to go to another level, some sort of benefit, whatever the model would be. But
Yeah,
that way, you're saying that and specifically, if I heard you right, that way the media would keep talking about it. Basically, if you give stuff to keep the media busy, so we always have something to talk about and something to follow, a narrative that we don't forget.
yeah, because everything's more connected. That kind of completes the circle. The
Yeah,
trouble I think now is,
you want to be able to tell the story the whole year. I mean, fuck. I mean, you're talking. That's heaven for all of us guys out here on YouTube.
and I'm like, why can't we? The thing is, you go, okay, well, actually, CrossFit's never been afraid of making big changes, and
But it has to be simple too. It can't get like, I think it has to be simple too.
there are specifics to this that I think obviously need to be worked out. But the overlying picture is that actually having this season that extends rather. So some of the things are, for example, now what's going to happen? We have open quarterfinals, really hard to follow because it's all these things random. It's online. You then go semi-finals. Within 3 weeks, you have 40 male, 40 female athletes all qualified to the CrossFit Games within 3 weeks. Europe, say, whatever, it gets 12 guys, 12 girls. That's 24 athletes. In one weekend, well, it's not actually just one weekend because you're coupling it with other semi-finals. So you have tens of athletes qualify for the CrossFit Games on one weekend. And so how do you tell their story? Last year in Europe, 12 people qualified. 24 people qualified, 12 males, 12 females, or whatever the number was, over 20 athletes. And you just can't tell their stories. Whereas actually, if you kind of,
you can't even get invested, dude, because you have to, it's a really good point. Because people like me and I see the barbell spinning here, we have to stay up 24 hours a day to watch Europe and Australia and to do all that crazy shit. And it's happening 3 weeks in a row. And by the end, we're completely fucking burnt out. Like,
yeah.
So what you're saying is, hey, you have these big events, spread them out. And, well, then everyone's going to complain it's not fair. Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't. So
or fuck fair.
Well, I don't think there's any reason why that doesn't have to be fair. I think that you could end up with this. The CrossFit Games. So whatever, you take 20 athletes to the CrossFit Games, be that controversial, not controversial. But how cool would it be to them to really follow those 20 athletes through the season, really get invested, really understand them, really, the stuff. This is why I loved the Tahoe Rogue versus Again Faster. When CrossFit was putting out stuff about the athletes, it was just super fun to watch, and you got invested in the athlete. And I'm kind of mind blown this year. So Jeffrey Adler, incredible athlete, and honestly, the poster child of CrossFit. If you wanted to put a blueprint of the perfect athlete to ever win the CrossFit Games for CrossFit, it would be Jeffrey Adler. I mean, he still follows the zone diet, which is like level one handbook. And you're not going to find any other athlete out there who does that, who still does .com workouts, who is like fully vested in the CrossFit methodology, his coach and partners, CrossFit level 4. And this not being utilized in any way, shape, or form. And, all of a sudden the season's ending and he might not win this year. But you've had a whole year where this like pinnacle of the guy won the CrossFit Games. He's a freaking phenom. He follows your methodology. He will preach the gospel of going to level 1 and doing all those things, and it's not being utilized. I just find a bit
And
crazy.
does his wife own that gym? Does Carolyn Lambre own that gym?
I think they're in the affiliate. I'm not
Oh, there.
100%
Well,
sure.
yeah, that's another interesting thing, right? They just train in a regular affiliate. God. In their defense, they're not doing anything. It's not that they're not doing Jeffrey. It's just they're not doing. I mean, they're basically harvesting old material right now. If it feels like that's where they're at, right? They're in a very lean mode.
Yes, and I think that's also a bit of a worrying phase, because you're like, why do you not see the potential of where this could grow and what this could do? And I think in what you guys are being able to put out, the budget that's needed in order to create an interesting storyline within CrossFit is not, you know we're putting on the crown right now, and it's very low budget trying to do, and we're just trying to tell that story. And I imagine that there is some possible budget in order to be able to tell a story like Jeffrey Adler's, who won the CrossFit Games and is like perfect for promoting level ones and just promoting the brand as much as possible.
Um, It's interesting, for whatever metric, I'll just use making my sponsors happy. Um, we just kind of whipped up this Taylor Self versus the world. We did this live open stream, and we just reached out to just athletes that we had relationships, not like popular athletes. I don't think anyone had more than 50 or 100,000 Instagram followers. Incredible athletes: Dallin, Pepper, Jason Hopper, Colton, and then Taylor. And I even remember the sponsor at first is like, Born Primitive is like, what the fuck? You're calling it Taylor Self versus the world? I'm like, yeah. They're like, he only has 7,000 Instagram followers. I'm like, dude, don't worry. Don't worry about it for a second. Like, I'm telling you, this guy, don't worry about it. And this guy fucking showed up and put out and made the show. And granted, Dallin and Hopper and Colton were great additions. But dude, the sponsor was so incredibly happy, and that event was so cheap to do. And so I see your point. Like, big things can be done with people who care. Big things can be done that prove concepts. You don't even need the biggest guys. You just need stories. Like this thing with Jake Berman and Colton Mertens. I don't know if you're following it, but they've
Yeah,
been talking shit and they're about to do 100 burpees. Fuck, that thing's gonna be nuts, dude. 20,000 people are gonna log in and watch that shit.
yeah. Well, it's just like two guys throwing down, doing cool stuff, and it's very fun to follow. And I think
Yeah,
like the Hiller Haley video, for example, was a really good example of how you
right.
can get those in-depth stories. But the
Well,
stuff.
and two interesting characters. No one thought Hiller and Haley would be together,
No, well, this is very true.
right? And no one thought, and the same thing. No one this fiery redheaded guy who hasn't done anything in 2 years is going to go against Dallin Pepper. Come on,
Yeah,
or Colton and Jake Berman. If he wasn't, I mean, he was making fun of Jake Berman on the Coffee Pods and Wads, and now all of a sudden we're all like, okay, let's see this. If he wouldn't have said that, we wouldn't give two shits, right?
yeah. No, I
So
think
so people have to be on the pulse who can capitalize that and be nimble, right? You have to be able to capitalize it and be nimble.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies, when the whole CrossFit media thing happened, obviously came out. Like Morning Chalk Up, for example, was like a
Right.
big success from that. But I think the issue is because it's not centralized, it's really hard to follow. So unless you're like, we're obviously super invested in the sport, so
Right.
we'll go to look at all these YouTube channels to find out what's happening or whatever it may
Right.
be. But because they don't control the main storyline, this going through, it makes it really hard as a fan to follow. Like Medeiros won the games for 2 years, and you're like, it's still really hard. I feel like I don't know him as well as I know, like the other athletes, for example. And I
Right.
think that's because there's not been a CrossFit led storyline for that.
Where do you go? Do you follow like right now? I would give the crown to the barbell spin.
Mm.
Is there a place you go? Like I just go like I go there every day to just check what's going on. Like I
Yeah,
would like that's how I found out quarterfinals had been was only 4 workouts,
yeah, and the
for
barbell,
example.
like obviously the world is very small, so we reached out. He really nice last year about putting a piece out on the crown as well. And
Do
so
you have a go-to news source, or do you even care about that type of thing? Do you just stick strictly to what the mothership is saying? Like, where do you? I wouldn't even know where to go on
what is the
dot.
mothership saying?
That's what I mean. I wouldn't even know if I wanted information about the games. I would just go straight to Google. Like, I'm not intimate with the site at all.
Yeah. I mean, so what happened every time you used to go, okay, you go to CrossFit to get information about CrossFit. Then there's this
Right.
weird period, media went away, and it was like, do I trust the Morning Chalk Up who were, back in that day? And it's like, who do you trust to have this
Right.
news source?
Right.
Whereas now, like say Barbell Spin or whatever it may be, have become these trusted news sources
Right.
you to go to. And it's like, no, you're not worrying anymore about where it comes from because you just have that more of an innate trust. But
But
I
he
think,
also doesn't have an obligation. So, like, we would have if there's a change in date. Let's say it says, "Hey, all of us, the West semifinals got the venue's damaged and it's been moved over here,"
yeah,
and he has no obligation to post that. And so we do need. I'm agreeing with you. We do need a place on .com that's like, "Hey, click here," and it's all the shit. And maybe they have it, but it's just like I don't know.
I'd also like to know the why. Like what's the one thing we've always kind of asked for is like a lot of transparency, and I think that's where the Dave's Week in Review is really nice to follow because there's at least a consistent transparency of decisions and why they're being made. But like this media thing, I really struggle. And you go, okay, well, it's not because we're not investing that much in the sport. We're going, guys, like I'm all in on this sport. A lot of the people I speak to are all in on this sport, and you're telling me that you're not all in on this sport.
Mm,
It's like, well,
mm,
why then are you running it?
mm.
And that's like a little bit of this passion project where it comes to is like, you know, why are you not as invested in the sports, like pushing to where people think it can go? And that's where these comparisons come in, and where I think it's interesting following High Rocks, a sport that's saying we're focused on the sport and growing the sport, and actually can be successful in that, and using a model of basically a workout that was taken from a CrossFit workout, just standardized and put in mass participation. And why hasn't that been being utilized in this way?
If John, if you had a teeter totter and you wanted it to be balanced, you'd put the same weight on each side, right? And so
Hmm.
you and I grew up in an era where CrossFit had balance. The owner cared just as much as the affiliate owner is cared as just as much as the athlete. As many times as you could hear Greg say he didn't care about the games, you could see he put ridiculous amount of resources into it to build it up, probably to its own detriment, faster than it should have been built up. And when I worked at CrossFit, everyone had ownership. Like you had ownership, right? Every video I made, I had ownership. Everything Greg did, he had ownership. And now you're describing also High Rocks. There's ownership. You have to. I think it's fair, without it being negative or disparaging, to say that there is no ownership on CrossFits anymore. It's run by private equity, and it's a ownership are things that you care about, like intimately, like your kids, right? Or there's a difference about how much you care about your shoes versus how much you care about your feet, right?
Hmm.
You love your shoes, but you really love your feet. I mean, they're not even close. And so there's just no ownership there anymore. And I think that's what you're feeling, because the athletes have crazy ownership. Okay, I'm fucking gonna live like a poor man for the next 6 years and try to make semifinals with my body that I've been given one shot at on planet Earth, right? And so you just have there's an imbalance, I think, that you're feeling, that we're all feeling, that there's just not. I mean, they're bringing in the leadership when they they bring in, and I don't want to pick on Jay, but when they bring in leadership and he hasn't taken his level 1, and they think it's okay to admit that, it's not even so much that he didn't have his level 1, it's that you were willing to send out an email to all the affiliates and tell them that he didn't have his level 1. It shows like a little bit of a disconnect. Like, dude, we're a fucking, like, there's a lot of people in this community who are like all in.
Yeah.
Putting food on the table for their kids, dedicating their life. I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, and I also,
and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it as factual. I mean it as like, hey, what can we do to fix that? Or is there, maybe there is no fix? But I think we're talking facts.
And I also don't like that it's kind of just disregarded as complaining. In
No.
the sense, but this is what I mean, is that actually it's like, okay, well, you're just whining. Like, this comes out, there's another error, there's another fault, and I think the disregarding of listening to the community and these things, and that's something that I struggle with, in the sense, like, sit down, have this transparency, this conversation, and just ask, okay, how do we think the sport can be better? And I think that's the one thing that everyone wants, in the sense of, I would love to see CrossFit grow. Why? Because if CrossFit grows, the model that I've always loved was Greg's model of the pie. In the sense, he saw his job of growing the pie. The pie grows, everyone's slice of that pie gets bigger just because he's managed to increase that. And I think as everyone's slice of the pie is growing, everyone's happy. The trouble is, what happens is that all of a sudden the pie's not growing. And so everyone then starts going, well, actually, you've got to start taking from someone else who's in this same ecosystem, be that with media, be that with training programs, whatever it may be. And because we don't have that growth of the ecosystem, this is where all these frictions start to arise. But actually, if we had momentum and growth, I don't believe there'd be any friction, because everyone would be enjoying that momentum and ride through.
You're probably not going to like this next thing I say.
Okay.
I believe in I want the same destination as you, but I think the problem is there's too many people. I think that the whole thing should be run like a complete fucking dictatorship. Like, one person owns it. You should just be like, hey, run that shit. Kind of like the way Dana White does the UFC, or the way Greg used to do CrossFit. Like, hey, fuck it, just do it, dude. You know what I mean? I think we need a strong leader who will take the thing by the fucking horns. And I don't know if they can because of private equity, but just be like, this is the way it is, get in line. And then we'll feel a certain comfortability that the rest of us will put our heads down and work, instead of being like, yo, what the fuck's wrong with the pie's getting smaller.
Yes. And so,
like, I don't need every affiliate's opinion on the fucking open. I just need it. And that's why I like the weekend review. I feel like it's like, okay, we're being told shit. Maybe that's what you mean by transparency. Maybe we're closer than I think we are.
And also, I think that there's always been this debate on, like, the sports, the affiliates, and I always feel like everything just gets lost in this, like, debate about which is gonna, we're gonna put more effort into affiliates. And I just feel it gets this grey, weird debate all the time, where it's like one is exclusive of the other. Whereas I do think that, I'm obviously biased on this sense, but I do think that if you can focus on the sport, that the affiliate model will grow in of itself. And this is why I think it's been very interesting to follow High Rocks, because that has been the case. They've now proving it to be true, that you focus on the sport and the affiliate model is growing.
What's their affiliate model look like, John? Is there an actual gym that, like, you drive by and you're like, oh shit, that's a High Rocks gym?
Yes, and for example, in the Middle East, because of the comments that CrossFit made regarding the war, a lot of the affiliates there de-affiliated, and they then just became High Rocks affiliates. So
no
it was
shit.
Yeah, and actually the affiliates are growing at a crazy pace. I think, like, over the last year, they started around a year ago with 500. Now they're at 2,500, which
they have 2,500 CrossFit affiliates. Are they hybrid affiliates? Are they like CrossFit and High Rocks?
I presume there's a mix. There's right. No exclusion. I presume some are just pure High Rocks, some are CrossFit High Rocks.
I wonder what you do at a High Rocks affiliate. You just train. You train specifically those High Rocks. I'm looking on their website, High Rocks.
But I also think that the point here is also, it's more that, I think that CrossFit can do very well, and it's just like, hey, by focusing on that thing and growing that aspect.
Say that the last thing again? Sorry, I was watching all the numbers populate. Say that again. If CrossFit could what?
Because I think it's very hard to tell the affiliates what to do. I think it's really hard for you to be able, because they're just so different. I mean, even in Mallorca, the style of affiliate here is so different. The owners are very different. They have very different opinions. So how can you help them? I think actually by bringing more awareness to the word CrossFit. Someone sees CrossFit's cool, someone wants to go and try CrossFit, then the affiliate's going to grow that way. And I think the easiest way to do that, and the one thing that can make CrossFit very unique compared to like Les Mills, F45, or whatever the thing is that it does have this sport. And it does have something that people are extremely passionate about because there is this sport aspect to it. And I think that will keep driving affiliate growth. People just walking into affiliates because they see this thing they want to do and they think it's cool.
I don't know if I'm able to make a distinction here, but the real truth about the sport is, I think, is there's no one denying whoever wins the CrossFit Games is the fittest person on earth, and that's a really powerful tool. I think the big that CrossFit has, right? It's like no one's gonna dare. I don't know if you remember, but F45 put out a challenge to Rich Froning, and instead of Rich Froning do it, Raw of Earth, Ronnie Teasdale walked over and went against their champion and fucking destroyed him. I mean, so and took $50,000 from him. I mean, so that's a really that wasn't easy to get. CrossFit made it look easy, and this community made it easy, but there's no one who's like, it's pretty undisputed.
Yeah, it's become accepted. Like,
and so that has to be utilized, I guess. What you're saying is, well, I guess maybe what we're saying is that's being completely underutilized to help the affiliates, to help grow the sport, to help. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's all that the games are.
Yes.
The brand is, hey, we can crown that person and no one's going to stay shit, or they're going to get beat up on the internet.
Yeah, and it's also, it just so happens that it's this cool thing that inspires people to then go to gyms and boxes. I think it's hard to track these things, but I think one of the biggest growth periods is probably when Reebok came into the sport as well.
For sure.
And all of a sudden, it's like Reebok CrossFit Games. That association with a brand like Reebok, I think, was really powerful. But then also, they did loads of advertising. Gyms started getting loads more members. There's these kind of Reebok affiliates popped up all over the place. And actually, I think this was a huge momentum growth of the sport and people just getting into CrossFit.
Reebok was so big that a lot of people from the outside. Oh yeah, F45 versus CrossFit, $100,000 call out. Yeah, that was funny. That's funny. Hey, it got so big, or Reebok was so big that people on the outside thought that CrossFit was just a Reebok fitness program. And I will tell you that was a big concern for CrossFit, that the two were getting conflated. Obviously, that's what Reebok wanted because they were looking for some brand value. But dude, they put in so much money into advertising. And I remember being in a hotel room in the middle of Africa somewhere and going to like their shitty little gym that was outside that had like all the rusted weights and shit and working out and looking up at a TV, like not even a flat screen, like a box TV. And there it was. ESPN playing the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Three things that were enormous for CrossFit for their growth. Every Second Counts helped a shitload. ESPN helped a shitload, and the Netflix release helped a shitload. Because when it came out on Netflix, that gave us eyeballs internationally. And obviously, I don't want to take anything away. Like, I'm not suggesting that those were like. I'm just saying that all three of those things were really important links in the chain that I don't think a lot of people realized. So,
and I think following on from that, say you go, okay, you've got this ESPN documentary comes out, not Netflix documentary.
Oh, sorry, one more thing, John. And the other thing that's almost never talked about is the fact that CrossFit spoke to its base, and the base is first responders and military. And getting away from that is an enormous mistake. Okay, sorry, go ahead. ESPN, sorry.
So imagine you watch, this Netflix documentary, it comes out, you watch the CrossFit Games, and then imagine afterwards, you could then start following the CrossFit season straight away rather than having to wait for so long for that to happen. And I think that's a big part of it. Like with Formula One, for example, they dropped the Drive to Survive. I mean, Drive to Survive is the model now for sports. Like
for documentaries.
yeah, well, driving growth of a sport, like
Mm,
full swing, the tennis one, all the ones that they've done have, like, they just poured viewership into Formula One. And the thing that I loved about that as well is they didn't just focus on the best; they told just stories of the drivers, and it
mm.
just exploded the
And
sport.
not just the drivers, but their supporting cast.
Yeah,
You know who else got saved by a reality show was the UFC.
yeah, the
They were about to go
Ultimate
under.
Fighter.
Yeah. And tha
Yeah,
and that show came out. I think they invested their last $30 million into that, and if that didn't work, they were gonna shutter the doors, and that thing catapulted them, right?
yeah. And honestly, I think if we keep going, we could talk for a long time about the amount of examples where you know, this media and sport related has really helped things grow.
What's interesting too about the UFC one is it kept its grittiness. It did like no one still thinks that the UFC is not polished. And actually, I've only seen one of those Formula One shows, but showing behind the scenes shows the grittiness they have as opposed to the veneer you see on the when you just watch the shows. And that's the part that we like, right? The grittiness.
Yes, yeah, very much.
Do you have any top athletes right now? I know you were training Gabriela Magawa in Mallorca a couple years ago. Do you have
Yeah,
any athletes now, games athletes you're training?
yeah. Like a top level athlete is probably Moritz,
Oh,
who you spoke to at the games.
yes. Great
Uh,
guy, by the way. Great
yeah,
guy. I got to have him on the podcast.
yeah. He's a really nice personality. He's like a showman, hungry to win, loves the crowd.
And are you still taking on clients?
Yeah, we're so after Gabby left like a couple of years ago. One of the things we were really trying to do, I think I was coming to like a bit of burnout. So it was just really like stressful, hard to work with everything, and so we really changed the structure. And now we've got like a really solid coaching team in place, um, which is really nice, and that allows us to be able to support more high level athletes. It's a growing journey. You get to a stage where we're doing really well, loads of high level athletes, but it was like we didn't have the infrastructure to be able to handle that many athletes. So we kind of like, okay, how do we create that infrastructure in order for that to happen?
What if someone like BKG's like, fuck, it's winter here in wherever the fuck he lives, and he's like, I'm coming to Mallorca for a month to train with John Singleton. Do people do that?
Yeah,
That's what
people.
I would do if I was an athlete. I'd go stay with you for a month.
Yeah, we get people over dropping in. It's. I think the view that we've come to look at is, ultimately we want to try and grow the sport and help that. And so, if someone's from a different training camp wants to come get some help and they come over, we're very open to that. I think right now it's like really important that everyone's working towards the same goal of this growth forward, rather than just trying to compete amongst themselves.
Okay, I've decided how as your agent and your media manager, the Sevan podcast. Mallorca is where you go in the off season to still train. Listen, when the games wrap up, you go to Mallorca, you rest a week, and then they slowly accelerate you back and get you ready for Rogue.
Yes.
It is the ultimate. Like, what are you guys doing? Stop fooling around. And it really is it really is heaven there, huh?
Yeah, it is really nice. It'd be cool to get more US guys over to Europe as well.
You guys have electricity and running water there?
We do.
All
We
right,
also
cool.
have direct flights to
We're
New York.
very we're very pampered here in the US. We have some John, thank you so much. Where do people go if they want to stay connected to the program and also the program the Crown program,
Yeah.
the
Well,
program Crown.
you very kindly put the handle on this live feed, but maybe just search for the program without
Mhm.
an A.
Okay.
Will come up, and then also like it'd be great if you guys can follow this weekend the Crown. The whole point is just supporting the next generation of athletes. So just follow along, show them your support, and watch what they can achieve.
Okay, and hey, text me who I need to have on the show there who can talk and is going to be a great athlete, or who can't talk and doesn't mind getting made fun of.
Yeah, you'd like to get one of the athletes on the show.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be very cool.
yeah. I'd love to. Do you know that I was blown away by that kid that what's the girl's name? You know Jessica Griffith?
Yes.
and she's training some kid.
I don't know the kid.
Terry? I interviewed him at the games, and I was like, "Holy shit, if my kids grow up like him, I'd be so happy." He was such a great kid. Are you happy with the kids that you're seeing? Like, they seem like sometimes I meet these CrossFit kids, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, you're a box of rocks." Are there some in the group that you're like, "Man, these are good kids." Like, this is like I'd marry my daughter off to this one.
One of the things that we do is like try to take a step back so that the kids interact amongst themselves.
Hmm.
And that's like a big thing. It's like we want them to form friendships, not just not just have us be a part of that. So it's really about, we set the thing up and then step away so those guys just interact and form what they need to form.
I love it. The guy's name's Ty Jenkins. This kid.
Yeah,
This is a cool kid.
yeah. He's very good. I think he could be a next superstar.
You think Dallin Pepper's going to win the game sometimes in his life?
Well, that's a great question. I think that the guys' field is a lot more open than the female field right now.
There's just some people there who are just like so dominant in the female field.
If Tia, I think if
T has to be struck by lightning.
Yeah, she's just she's her and Fraser really set the bar high for being.
They fucked everything up.
They really did. Their stats will just be like so hard to beat,
Yeah. All right, buddy. Hey, you're always welcome on. Any insights, any shows? Yeah, great to talk to you. What a cool dude you are. Thank you for coming on, John.
Thank you for having me.
And enjoy the week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Ciao. John Singleton.
Cool. What a guy.
Yeah.
That camp he's running reminds me of the camps that I used to go to when I lived in Germany. They would just have like different big club soccer teams would put on camps. You just go to somewhere for a weekend. And
you went to Germany to play soccer?
I used to live there.
Oh.
And so, yeah, you just get immersed in the soccer culture, and like Nike will sponsor a camp and they'll have soap bars with Nike logos on them, and you get little slippers with the logo.
Caleb remembers the soap. You steal soap from hotels?
Yeah, I do.
Me too.
There was the hotels that we used to stay at in Jordan had Dead Sea salt soap, so I would just steal them all.
This friend of mine heard me say that I love the soap at the Four Seasons, and she stays there a lot, and so she always steals me soap from there now.
Really?
Hello? Hi. I don't know why Can you hear me? Hello? 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 She hung up. Fuck.
I feel like I'd be used to that by now, but when my parents do it, it drives me nuts.
What? When they try to set the Roadcaster up to the phone?
Yep.
So if I'm staying in a hotel, if I'm staying at the Four Seasons or something like that, they come in your room in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh.
So and they have a bar of soap in the sink and in the bathtub. So I take both of those, put in my suitcase. Then in the afternoon, there's 2 more I take and put in my suitcase. So I'm getting 4 bars a day. Crazy, right?
That's so much soap.
Yeah.
Are they like regular soap bars, or are they like the sample size soap bars?
Damn, what is going on with this phone? Oh, can you hear it?
Yeah,
No.
I just heard it.
They're big. They're good soap. It's good soap. Big.
Okay.
Yeah. Robust.
Sabbath Essentials sent me some soap one time, and I used that for a really long time. It was just like a bar of I don't even remember exactly what it was called, but it was really good. I liked it a lot.
My wife's all into their stuff.
Yeah, I just ordered some more of the body oil and stuff because my skin's just getting so dry.
Something's happening to my eyes. My vision is changing.
Need new glasses?
I don't want to tell you, but I think I need those ones that they're called bifocals that the old people have with the line through them.
Yeah.
Like I see shit different far away than close.
My dad has bifocals.
Oh, fuck. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, are you leaving?
Not for like another 25 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Is it wet outside? Is it raining?
It's not raining, but it looks like it's about to. It's pretty wet.
Is it raining in Scotts Valley?
Yeah.
Oh, should I call Luke and see? What am I going to do with the boys? Do you know? Should I just walk them in the rain?
Scotts Valley is supposed to rain at 9.
Oh.
Probably. I don't think they're skating today.
Okay. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Code Sevan for 20% off. Is that true?
Yeah, I used it.
Oh, that's awesome. Sabbath Essentials. Code Sevan, 20% off.
Some good shit.
Hey, that company that I used, Me Prism.
Meat Prism?
Me Prism.
Oh, Meat Prism.
I wonder if I can log on from this computer.
Is that the one that blocks all your numbers and shit?
Yeah, give you back your privacy. We're more than just a service. We're committed to keeping your private life truly private, protect you and your family and your assets, prevent financial losses from phishing, ransomware, and other cyber scams. Bring your digital peace of mind. Navigate the digital landscape with confidence, knowing your personal information is shielded from the public.
Cool.
Sign in as app user. I want to okay. So look, God, I hope this doesn't have any of my personal information on it. But basically, these guys gave me a code word that you guys could use for a discount. I don't fucking remember what it was, but look at. So they found 46 people who were using my shit, like collecting my shit, like 24counter.com, 411locate.com, advancedpeoplesearch.com. And look, they're removing my shit. Removing. Cool, right?
That's really cool.
Cluster maps. They asked me if I wanted to do an affiliate program. I was like, of course not. I just want good stuff for the people. Can you just give a discount to the people who listen to the podcast? They said, yeah, sure. Let me see. Maybe I have I'm having the founder of the company on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him like what kind of. I hope he has like cool horror stories of people who gotten fucked on the internet.
Yeah, I bet. Especially the old people.
Yeah, old people get jacked, right?
Yeah, that happened to my grandpa like a couple of months back. They convinced him to go to Walmart and pick up like a bunch of fucking gift cards or something, and he's just being independent old grandpa, and that whole thing got kind of fucked. Felt bad.
Someone called me the other day. And they're like, hey, we have that video. We turned on your camera phone and we have that video of you watching a fat girl gets gangbanged. And we're going to show it to the public.
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
okay.
All right, fuck it. Go ahead.
It's awesome. Do you get random text messages of people just say, hey?
Yes.
Numbers you don't know? It's like, hey.
Yeah, mostly in my DMs, I get that.
Oh, really? I get like actual text messages that just says, hey. I'm like, what?
Sevan 20, lowercase Sevan. Sevan 20, and you get 20% off it from this Me Prism site. Sorry to interrupt your hey story.
Oh, that's cool. That was it.
Look, 20% off. So if you want to try this, you can go there and type in Sevan 20. And if you're a cop or a firefighter, dude, show this. If you're somehow a public figure, you take this shit to your boss.
Yeah, for sure.
And be like, hey, you guys should pay for this.
If you're an attorney,
all that shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's genius.
Or people are threatening to show your porn. You know what was crazy is there was a dating service that had like, I want to say 30 million people signed up, but it was just for people who wanted to cheat. I forget the name of it. And
like cheat on their wives or something, or
yeah,
okay.
Like it was a dating website for people who want to cheat. And I think I remember that dating site got hacked, and they released the names of all the people using it.
Oh shit!
What a mess. Yeah, thank you, Bernie. You understand the brand well. Threatening Sevan with his weird porn. My porn habits aren't weird. They're so
Not even brand diminishing.
they're not. Hello, caller.
What's up, man?
I don't think I don't think I don't think just watching normal people have sex is weird porn like behavior. I don't have any weird porn behavior.
He doesn't click on gaping buttholes.
I don't chase down like dwarf porn, but like I don't shy away from it either. Like if it's like in the algo, it's like, all right, toss it up.
That's a weird algorithm.
But like I don't do any gaping stuff, any Cheerio stuff. What's up? How are you doing?
Chilling, I'm just calling to peddle my stuff.
Oh my goodness, good. I just got a I just put in a fat order and grinded it up, and I'm so happy. Does it hurt your soul when you hear that I go a day with drinking Folgers?
No, sometimes you need to drink, ass water to kind of put things in perspective.
Dude, don't ruin Folgers for me. Can you call it something else? I really don't like anything having to do with the ass besides grabbing it.
Dude, I went to fucking a convenience store and picked up their coffee today. I have to do that like readily to make sure that like, hey, we're on the right track.
Good job. How is everything? How is the how was the open for you over at Proven?
It was dope. I was able to do 2 weeks there. I did the second week and the third week there myself. I was judged by Tia. Never let the fucking 6-time fittest woman on earth judge you.
Oh, really? Did you get no rep to God back?
No, I didn't. She kept on saying, go, push harder. I'm like, Tia, just give me a second. We're two very different people right now.
Awesome.
And it's just, yeah. I'm like, no, you don't get this. And then the last week, they did a little surprise, and they're like, hey, Gabe, jump the first heat with no warm-up. I'm like, all right, cool. Who can be in the first heat? All their pro athletes were in the first heat. So you just see me there getting my ass kicked doing thrusters and chest to bars.
Dude, that's so fucking cool. Think about that. You were judged by Tia Toomey.
Oh, it's amazing. It's fucking amazing. I hated it when it was happening, but it was dope. She was so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool story to tell. It's so cool.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, good. We finally broke ground this week at the coffee shop over there. So we're going. I'll probably lose a lot more hair. Get a bunch more gray hair.
Do you have an opening date for the coffee shop in Nashville?
Dude, I wish.
No, isn't by that I mean at Proven. Isn't Proven in Nashville?
Yeah, it is. I wish I knew when we were going to be open. There's setback after setback, and
okay.
Yeah.
Are you within? Are you within 3 months?
I would probably say 5.
5. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good
but
thing.
Hey, we're working on it.
Yeah. Good things take a while.
Hey, yeah. You know why? That's why I decided to make Travis do all our merch. So I know people always ask, hey, Gabe, when are you going to have shirts? Hey, Gabe, when are you going to do this? And since I know a guy, I was like, hey, Travis, do me a favor. Handle all our merch, please. And yeah, he's going to be doing all of our stuff.
Yeah. And you're on, when you go to the website, you're on the front end. Look at, I think, I got this. How about this? This is also from Vindicate.
Are you pointing to the wristbands? Because I'm on the phone. I can't see.
No, I'm pointing to my yellow hat, but I do have the wristbands too. I am so stoked. For those, someone in the comments, Sleeky asked in the comments, why is he wearing wristbands? It's like I always wear these when I'm cold, and it was fucking cold this morning. Yeah, these are dope.
I have your original wristbands, and by the look of it, I think I'm gonna like the ones you have on a little bit better. Yeah, they're a little less thick.
Yeah, the other ones are so crazy thick. These are more like wristbands. And I got socks. And I'm keeping these by the computer when I'm cold too. Hey,
bro, we can buy Sevan socks.
Yeah, you can buy CEO socks.
Let's fucking go.
Hey, what did I see?
That's awesome.
Are you giving away free coffee? I saw Sydney Wells holding a bag of
Well, you know what I feel like I've been feeling like lately? Have you ever heard the song like Hit 'Em Up by Tupac?
I'm sure I have. I just don't know the title of it.
Yeah, he just goes in on like everyone. And I look at like all these businesses and like all these companies, like, oh, there's a particular company that made you do a pre-order and they just shipped out their backpacks like a week ago, and people have ordered it since like November. And then there's other companies that are like running out of stock of this, running out of stock of that. I'm like, you know what? Let me do something dope. So for all our subscribers, so people that get monthly or weekly or bi-weekly, whatever, people that are on a subscription, we're just going to give them 2 bags of coffee for free for the month of April. So if you have a subscription that's going to come up for April, just go ahead and get more coffee, basically. So subscribe before April 1st, and your subscription is going to come with a bag of Stella and a bag of Tyler. Totally on us.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, none of this. Oh, we were 5 times sold out. We've sold out three times. Okay, cool. How about you do better logistics and better business planning and don't sell out?
Yeah. When Doc Spartan runs out of Matuthian, they replace it right away. I love hearing.
Exactly.
I love hearing when they run out, though.
Oh, dude, I've been using the crap out of it for the past like 2 weeks.
Good. Hey,
it's all salty. Tastes good in my mouth.
I know. I like it too. For me, I don't even taste the salt anymore. Is that weird? Someone, I think Andrew tried it and he goes, "Wow, it's saltier than I thought."
The first week,
did you get the semen flavored?
But
did you get the semen flavored?
That's the only flavor that I ever ordered. I ordered like 10 of those.
Yeah, me too.
I got used to it now. I mean, yeah, after like a week or so, it doesn't taste salty anymore. Okay, this conversation is really weird out of context. But yeah.
A subscription has to be made by the end of the day of Sunday, says Paulina. Listen, if you're going to get coffee, let me see. What is today?
Paulina making everything official over here. I'm over here just trying to shoot the shit.
Okay, you only have 2 days,
official.
guys. Easter. You have to order by Easter. Go to
By
Paper Street
Easter.
Coffee, subscribe. And then when you subscribe, you basically get coffee sent to your house every month. Is that how that works?
Every 2 weeks, every 3
you have
weeks,
whatever frequency.
Oh.
Every 69 days, whatever you want.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, but you guys will all be getting some free coffee if you, just subscribe, get some awesome coffee. You're going to be getting 1 bag of Tyler, 1 bag of Stella. As a cool thank you for all the support and just being awesome and dealing with our growth and my stress trying to build this business.
Jethro Cardona. At one point, I had 5 extra bags of CEO coffee in fear of running out.
That happens. There's a bunch of people that are just like hoard the coffee, which is good. I'll take it. I appreciate it.
That's how I feel.
Remember,
too.
Hey, if you have extra coffee, throw that bitch in the freezer. That's all you need to do. Throw it in the freezer. It'll last forever.
Really?
You're good.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. That's a little hack. Don't open it.
That's what my dad used to do too as a kid. I remember the freezer was always full of coffee.
Yep. It's not optimal, but if you have a bunch of coffee, or let's say like I have this really, really cool coffee that I'm not going to use yet because I still have a bunch of other cool coffee. I got samples. Throw it in the freezer and just leaving it there until I want to use it.
Gabe, are you guys doing something with Dave? When he was at my house the other day, he said you guys are doing something together, but I feel like I've been hearing about that for a month. I don't mean to stress you out.
Well, yeah.
You have a lot of things going on.
No. So we're serving their oleato, their olive oil in coffee, kind of like bulletproof coffee. You know how back in the day you used to throw like MCT oil and like butter in coffee, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Olive oil, especially Dave's olive oil, is really, really good because it's pretty clean. I know that word sounds stupid, but his olive oil is super, super clean. So when you combine it with another fat like whole milk, it just gives it like a really nice flavor. So we've been adding it to drinks, and it's probably going to be like our drink of the month in 2 months, and it's going to be available 100% every day at Proven.
Oh, so you got to go in the store to get that.
Yeah. So, and my goal is actually to buy a bunch of the cans, whatever those tins that he has, and actually sell them retail at my coffee shop without him knowing. Just like pay him full retail and just resell them for like maybe $1 profit at the coffee shop.
Yeah,
he doesn't know that yet. But at least getting people there. We are actually just working on a little bit of like promotional material to have it at the coffee shop. So like random Joe Schmo can walk in and be like, "Oh, what is this?" And it'll direct them to his website.
They
yeah, just doing our thing.
at Starbucks, I saw I was traveling to Arizona. I stopped into a Starbucks, forgive me, and they in one of those like glass cases that has all the snacks in there. They had a little tiny bottle of olive oil. So I guess they're doing that shit too.
Yeah, I almost said a word that Paulina would be upset if I said it. They're the ones who started it. They're the ones who started the oleato kind of craze. But again, adding healthy fats to coffee, especially like if you're in a carnivore diet or if you're, in ketosis, it's actually really, really good. We have a whole blog post on it on our website that will give you a little bit more information. And you can just do it at home. You don't need to go super crazy. Do it like we do it in a latte. You can just throw it into your regular coffee, and not just any olive oil. You can't just go to like ShopRite and get extra virgin olive oil and throw it into your coffee. And oh yeah, it tastes amazing. It has to be high quality, really, really good olive oil. And even some, let's say you go to Whole Foods, it's not the same. So we were lucky when we tried out Dave's, and it tasted like phenomenal. I don't think we're going to use his garlic and
No,
and his other one,
no.
because it's not going to be good. But
Hey,
but yeah, man,
the
he's
lemon
been-
one might work in some sugary drink.
ready for this?
Yeah, the lemon one won't
Ice
work.
cream.
Oh.
What?
Ice cream. Yep. We're gonna try something with an ice cream and the lemon one.
Yeah.
So
If you had some foofy drink, that lemon olive oil, or even with ice cream, yeah, I'd rock that with ice cream.
Wow, I'm a cold foam cutie.
bro,
That's
bro, foofy is like the adjective when it comes to describe Paper Street Cafe.
Do they have to put in a code word when they do this subscription to get the 2 free bags?
No, nothing. Just
Okay,
if
so-
you're a subscriber, you're good to go. If you're not a subscriber and you subscribe before the date Paulina said, every subscription is just gonna get the 2 bags. Though, if ands or buts. If I feel nice and cool about it, maybe you'll get an extra bag, but 2 bags minimum. So if you only subscribe to 1 bag, you're gonna get 3 bags for this month.
done.
No brainer. All right. Thanks, Gabe. That's cool.
All right, gentlemen. Remember, also
Hey.
head over to Vindicate,
Hey.
buy some shirts, give them money.
I want to tell you this idea I had.
Go ahead. Is it rated X or is it like PG?
No, it's
I'm only taking rated X.
oh, this
ideas.
one's not rated X. So
Okay, go
you know Brian Spin is organized this Jake Berman versus Colton Mertens 100 burpees against each other.
My boy.
Yeah. And I wanted to organize that and give away $1,000, but I was too slow.
Dang.
But now I got this $1,000. So I was thinking right after that show was over, I was going to have Tim Murray, the fittest dwarf in the world, try to beat their time.
Get the fuck out.
And if he beats their time, just to take all those viewers and bring them over here. So I text Tim Murray and I'm like, hey, would you do it? And he's like, yeah, duh. But then I asked another one of my friends, hey, does Tim Murray have any chance of beating Colton Mertens and Jake Berman? He goes, dude, he's 1/16th as fit as Colton.
Oh, damn.
I know. I think it only works if Tim has a chance.
Question.
But if he beats him, then I give him the $1,000. And you know what I mean? Charlie Chaplin said there's only a great joke after a good joke. So I you got fucking fucking Tim Murray just fucking be like, yo. He just sets up a phone and we all sit around and cheer him on. I don't know.
I got a question.
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty genius.
24.1.
Oh, Murray. Oh,
yeah.
That's a good question.
Because you can base it off of that.
Oh, what if I got Sporty Beth to do it? Holy shit! And she had to do.
Bro,
what if I got Sporty Beth
I'll
to
add
do it?
another 1,000.
And all she has to do it is in twice the time that Colton did it. Oh my God! Do you think I could get her to do that? Fuck. So if Colton does it,
doubt you
if
can get
Colton
her to
and
do
Jake
that,
do
but
it,
you should ask.
If Colton and Jake do it in 5 minutes, she has to do it in 10 minutes. In her bra and underwear. You think that's too crass?
If she agrees to it, she agrees to it.
I mean, one of her workout outfits.
she agrees to it, that's on her. I think that would bring in a bunch of views.
As a fellow businessman, there's some way to capitalize on this, right? I shouldn't just be in defeat and like be like, fuck, Spin beat me to the punch. I need to be like, okay, I need to do something right after that. Look at Ken Walters. I'll add $100 for Sporty Beth. Holy shit.
Yeah, definitely have Tim do it. And then,
but dude, if he's not even close, like he can't be, like he has to be close.
He did 7:10 on.
That's what I'm saying.
First.
I have to call him and ask him, hey, dude, can you actually give them a run? But my buddy said that he's only 1/16th as fit as Colton. It just won't be. The gimmick only works if he's Oh wow, Mike Poolboy. Imagine if the D1 breeder sat on Tim's face. That'd be crazy.
Oh my god!
I don't know how you made that.
Paulina,
leap,
can you guys ask Paulina if I'm still joining this meeting at 12? Paulina, let me know if I still have this meeting with you or no.
Look at we're getting inside information on the.
Cold Mertens smoked Tim Murray by like 2 minutes.
There's your answer.
But wasn't there another movement?
Save your $1,000.
Wasn't there another movement besides? It
was burpees.
Dumbbell snatches.
But
okay, I'm gonna call Tim right now. Okay, thank you, Gabe.
All right.
Paulina says
I'll talk to you guys. Thank you, guys.
Love you. Bye. Okay, listen, people. Order if you want to get 2 free bags of coffee. Order now. What a great commercial for Gabe. I'm gonna call Tim. Fuck it. Let's just see what happens. Uh, 859-8. Oh shit. 8. Oh, don't say his number out loud, right? I think he has a day job.
Who, Tim Murray?
Yeah.
Probably.
And I don't think he knows the live call-in number, so he'd probably just like, fuck you, I ain't answering. Oh, you're his agent? You're Tim Murray's agent? Get fee. God, you guys suck. It doesn't work that way.
This is Tim.
Fuck.
Just leave your name.
Can't just get anyone. Do you guys understand that? You can't just get anyone. Tim Murphy's the fittest dwarf in the world. That's why it works. Like, if that show would have been Noah Olson versus the world, sorry, Noah, that shit would have never worked. That works because it's Taylor Self. Do you guys... Fuck, I know most of you get it. I'm sorry. Most of you guys don't have to be yelled at. Oh my God, do a documentary on someone else next. Dude, the Danielle Brandon thing works because it's fucking Danielle Brandon.
True.
Crazy hot, crazy, and crazy good at CrossFit. 3 crazies. You have to have all 3 crazies to get a doc. The fucking I can't wait to see one on fuck, I better not say anyone's name. Say it. I'd like to see one on Sevan. Really interesting. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Nobody cares about Sevan's life. Not that interesting.
No, boring as fuck. I did see this though. Look at this. This is where's I keep thinking my wife's gonna text me. I'm gonna be here he is. Oh shit, here we go. Tim.
Hello.
Hey. Sevan.
What's up?
What's up, dude? We're live on the air. How are you? Sorry, are you at work?
Oh, no, I just finished a workout.
Okay. I got this idea, but I've been told it's not a good idea. But I want it to be. Okay. So Colton talks shit. So Max Elhaj and gang at Training Think Tank, a very reputable source, was saying that Colton Mertens is really good at burpees, right? Or no, that Jake Berman was really good at burpees. And then Colton's like, hey, fuck you guys, shut your face. That guy's not that good. I could beat him any day of the week. And then so me and Spin at the same time were trying to organize this workout to go down, and Spin beat me to it. So I'm like, fuck. but I got this $1,000 to give away, right?
Okay.
So then I was thinking, like, right after they're done, we start up a live stream. We have the fittest dwarf in the world do 100 burpees for time. But then I told my friend the idea. So I texted you last night about it. But then, and then if you
Yeah.
beat him, you get the $1,000. But then one of my friends told me you're only 1/16 as fucking fittest Colton. And I couldn't tell if that was a short joke or if it was true.
Oh, yeah.
Do you
I
have,
don't know.
do you have,
That's
do you, do you have any chance of making that time?
What was the time? I didn't see it.
We don't know what his time. Sorry, we don't even know what his time is. But it's like the two best guys in the world at burpees. But the theory is that you're closer to the ground, so you would be able to do them faster. I guess that's the theory.
Yeah, which isn't, I mean, technically wrong.
Right.
But
Do you have savage burpees?
They're pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I did 24.1 and like 642. I only had a 30-pound dumbbell though, but still 642 was flying. I didn't stop.
Do you know what your yeah, that is crazy. Do you and there's no weight in this burpee thing. I think you just have to go over a bar. His
Just
jump
go.
over the bar is going to take more time though. Augustus Link says, "Hey, what is your do you know what your 100 burpee time is?"
I've actually never done that test yet, so I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I mean, everything did like any kind of burpee like that, it's usually involved with something else. So like last year with the shuttle runs and adding time or adding reps, was it 24.2, I think, or 23.2? There was the shuttle run burpees. And then, I mean, everything else has been just built into a workout. So I've never really actually tested my full 100, burpee time.
Caleb, what was Colton's 24.1? Was it?
It was like 5:42 or something.
Okay, so only a minute off, but with the dumbbell out, are you available April 3rd?
April 3rd? That's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm available then.
Okay, I'm going to take this back to my board. I'm lying. There really isn't a board, but I'm going to process this. Okay, but you might possibly, would you be game?
Yeah, I'd be down.
Are you in it to win it?
Always. I don't do things just to do them anymore.
All right. I love that. All right. Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. All right. And you try to win the $1,000.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. And you have a place to do it? Like you could set it up somewhere on April 3rd? You just need an iPhone. You just need an iPhone and I guess a bar.
Yeah, I got plenty of places for that.
Oh, Jesus. Listen to these fucking DEI motherfuckers in the comments. Ken Walters, who cares? People will tune in. There's not enough quality little people coverage out there. I don't care about little people coverage. I want people to think he has a chance to win so I can get views, motherfucker. How crazy is it that the only person, like you're like one of the only people in the world that comes to mind that might be able to beat those two? Kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's good company.
I don't mind it though.
Yeah.
I like being in that conversation.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, 100 burpees for time. Sevan against Tim. No, thank you. If I could get on with that. Idiots. Okay, dude. I'll text you later today. Let me see how this unfolds.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
Tim Murray, fittest dwarf in the world. Oh, it was sarcasm. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate you helping my bit, Ken. Thank you. I did 643, 100 burpees to 6-foot target a couple of years ago. $500 final offer.
You'll give us $500 to watch you do it?
God. Judy Reed, Tim Murray's such a good dude. Yeah, he is. Or is Ken Walters. Ken Walters is such a good dude, too.
Sweet.
John Young versus Tim, a neurodivergent versus dwarf. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Just start mixing the categories.
Fuck it. Well, that'd be cool.
right?
Yeah.
I just really want him to have a shot at it.
Yeah, I agree.
There was something I wanted to show you. I forget where it is. Mm-hmm. All right. You know, there was a law in San Francisco passed in 2014 making it against the law to teach algebra in public schools.
What? Seriously?
I know. You don't want to believe it, right?
No. I had to take algebra so many times. What the fuck? Now people just don't have to take it?
Dude, this fucking psychologist, yeah, it's going to be a story. I'm going to bring it up when Greg's on. I can't even fucking believe it's true.
That's so fucking insane.
There's a law in Washington State where they have a snitching hotline, and if you tell on people for hate speech,
they'll go after them.
The government will go after you, and you can get $2,000 for telling on them. They have a hotline that incentivizes tattling. Now, listen, but you can call government officials and police officers. So if like I called you a kike, someone could tell on me, and I could get in trouble for hate speech.
Yeah,
which is fucking just absolutely nuts. But if you called a cop that, you're good to go.
Wow.
Can you imagine the people of Washington State? They pay their own tax dollars. Let me guess, a Democrat came up with that. Yeah. How retarded are you if you believe in hate speech? What kind of ambiguous bullshit talk is that? We can't even decide what a woman is, and we're going to decide what hate speech is.
Fair point.
Did you see these fucking crazy people over at USA Weightlifting or something? They let a dude win their competition.
I was just going to bring that up. And then what's even better is that USA Weightlifting doubled down on it. And they're like, we want our sport to be inclusive, and we want everybody to be able to weightlift and enjoy the effects of fitness and blah, 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 and all this other shit. It's like, you people are so stupid.
And what's crazy is all these people in there, they should have their own category.
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't. They should have their own. I don't even agree with that. They should have their own. No, fuck no. Where does that stop? Start your own fucking weightlifting organization.
That's fair.
Start your own no, fuck that. Hey, dude, I don't believe in any of that stuff. Like, there's no end to that. Here's the
the adaptive argument.
You
have to stop the so many divisions at some point.
Right. I'm okay doing stuff for old people because it's a common thing that we all share. So like, if you're gonna have a store, I'm just making this up. I don't know if I agree with this, but if you're gonna have require stores to have ramps for the elderly, okay,
sure.
If you're gonna require some company to make food that you don't need your teeth, okay. I mean, but this thing we're just one-off picking. But then on top of that, the truth is you're being a codependent for mental illness. That's the truth. You're validating someone's mental illness. There's nobody who's born into a body who then has thoughts that they wish they had a different body is going to live a happier life by somehow living out that. No, that doesn't work like that.
Sure.
There's no human being that works out like that.
Okay.
That's not the direction of our happiness, of our contentment, of our ability to perform in civilization. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Like, if you want to ride the bus in a dress, go fucking ahead.
Sure.
Enablers. Yeah, it's just all fucking enablers. It's gross.
Have you seen that dude that dresses up as a woman that's arguing that the new trans community is like fucked up their community? He's like, dude, I was doing this long before, and I'm still a dude.
Yeah.
I thought there was we need more of those guys.
Here's the thing too. It's like people who want to save Palestine.
Mm.
And you're like, okay, but what would be your priority? Save the kids of Palestine and save the people of dying, or save the country? What do you prioritize?
The kids.
Dude, I'm so glad my family didn't fight for the country I was from. And I'm so glad my wife's family didn't fight for the country that she was from.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, but if those people want to fight, I'm all for it. Stay and fight. But all these people who are pro-Palestine, you're just getting kids killed. Hey, if you want to spend your energy helping someone, fucking protest Egypt and have them open the fucking border. Any other country in the world, just imagine if someone came over and slayed fucking 110 Americans. Or just from over the border in Mexico. I bet you I would be fucking like, you better evacuate Tijuana. We're taking it.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Right. It's like, I mean, the Russians are kind of doing it right now with the guys that attacked their, like, they killed like 130 people. They're like,
oh yeah,
okay,
they're like,
we're gonna fuck your shit up now.
Yeah. Who were those people?
I want to say they were. I mean, they were all Muslims, but they're from like Kazakhstan.
Yeah, you got to be like, hey, in 2 weeks we're gonna burn down your entire country.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean you're gonna burn it down? Well, I'm just telling you, so you should leave.
You fucking dipshits decided to poke the bear.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think's gonna happen?
And then someone will be like, hey, are you condoning killing? No. Not at all. I'm condoning fucking burning down Tijuana if they did that and building a fucking no man's zone 100 miles between our country and theirs.
Cause and effect.
Yeah. That's what I'm condoning. And why? So that fucking I can go to Baskin Robbins on the weekends.
You think that the terrorists now think the people that did attack Russia, they're like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Because now they're broadcasting.
The Hamas people?
Yeah, they're broadcasting what they did to those guys. Like you can look on any social media outlet anywhere and you see them. Like one guy, they freaking chopped his ear off and made him eat it.
Oh, the Russian people, the Russians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, those dudes fully regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you see them getting wheeled into the courthouse and they're unconscious. Like that's what happens. What do you think's gonna, like, you don't just attack a country, kill 130 people and think you're like, oh yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna run away. It's all good. I'm just a terrorist. No, dude. You should have just fucking detonated yourself. Because now you have to live with this. And now your family's getting taken. People are going after your family.
So that picture I saw of the dude getting his cock and balls electrocuted, that was real.
Absolutely.
Damn.
They cut out a dude's freaking eyelid and his freaking eyeballs hanging out. That shit, they don't play around, dude.
He got an earful.
Literally.
I love my yellow hat, Travis.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
Thank you. Huh. The best part of when this show is over is it was Dana White. What's the girl's name from ESPN? It was Dana White. That's what fuck, yes. Here it is. Damn, I was gonna play this in my new show. This is what I want to show you. Look at this.
This was so fucking hilarious.
What?
I think I know what you're gonna show.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Oh, never mind. Damn it.
No, this is so good. Okay, here we go. This chick, Sage Steele, I think got fired from ESPN. She did something that wasn't, I think she didn't want to take the vaccine or something. She got fired. Being black when a woman wasn't enough.
Right.
If I cared what people thought, I'd still be a bellman at the Boston Harbor Hotel. You know what I mean? That's the truth. If I really cared what people thought, I'd still be doing that.
I have found such freedom in that when you let go I
Me
mean,
too.
it sounds like you've never had it, which is a blessing.
I live one of those lives. I posted this the other day. Create a life that you can't wait to wake up to.
I saw that.
I live that life. I hate to sleep. I hate sleeping.
I've never heard that before.
I hate sleeping.
How much sleep do you get?
Not much.
What's that?
4 or 5 a night. I hate sleep. I love every minute of my life. Love every minute of it. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow. I can't wait to start tomorrow. And when you really feel that way, I really don't give a shit about a lot of things.
I love it. I wish it hadn't taken me 50 years.
If I cared what people thought,
That's cool.
It's so deep. It's so deep. Oh my God, I'm panicking. You can't even tell.
God. She got fired because she was publicly against men and women's sports. Oh,
There you go.
so she probably did get the vaccine.
Did you see the,
What?
did you see the part where she didn't realize that she was talking to Dana White and not Joe Rogan?
Oh shit.
She called him Joe Rogan like twice.
Oh shit.
She goes, "What's the future look like for Joe Rogan?" And then he's like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, Joe Rogan. Well,
Holy, you don't think she knew? Hey,
I think she. I mean, I don't know. I
I want to
get
tell you something. There's she does maybe seem thrown off a little bit. I think she's probably crazy nervous. Because I did notice something there also. She pivoted to how many hours a night do you sleep? And that was a weird, that was like almost like she's not paying attention and like just grasping at straws for questions. But fuck, man, Dana White's such an easy guest. He's amazing.
Yeah, he was cool, but this is what happened.
Okay, let's
What's
see.
Joe Rogan's dream?
what's Joe Rogan's dream?
Joe Rogan, Dana White. What's Dana White's dream?
Did you just think I was
totally
Joe
did.
Rogan?
I totally did.
She just called me fucking Joe Rogan. You thought I was fucking Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I thought you were Joe
I was
Rogan.
bald
No.
before Joe was ever
I know,
bald. Okay?
I know.
Just
I
did a
think that was the
2-hour
same guy.
fucking podcast. I flew here from Vegas and she thought she was
Jesus.
interviewing Joe Rogan.
Jesus.
Damn.
Holy shit. Hey, that could
He
have
put
gone
the-
sideways. That could have Dana, Dana could have. Where is that?
It's
Oh,
on
that's
Dana White's
amazing. Oh, good on him. He leaned into it.
Yeah.
Oh, good on him.
He was
God,
cool
I
with it.
feel for her. Holy shit, dude.
That's honestly worst nightmare. Like getting somebody's names mixed up, calling them the wrong name.
Hey, that's about as attractive as you can be. How old are those people? Those are both 50. That's about like if you look like either of them at 50, you're doing good.
Dana White's
She-
54.
Yeah. How old is she? Sage Steele. She's hot.
I think she
God,
said she was 50 or something.
I can't believe how good Dana looks now.
Yeah, he looks a lot better.
Sometimes I look at him and it looks like he has Down syndrome. Like his teeth are so far back in his mouth. He's like,
She's 51.
God, she's so thin.
Yeah. She looks
Oh, I
good.
fucking feel so bad for her for that, but it's fucking great. Hey, I think she was at, I'm pretty sure I saw her at the last at UFC 299, like sitting back there with Trump and she was up in the front row. She was like, she could have reached out and touched
Wow.
Dana. Oh
Good
shit.
program. He's
my
walked
wife's-
off for way less. Yeah, for sure. Like,
Uh,
yeah, I'm done with this.
Oh, leaving now. Okay. Coming. Okay, coming. I wonder if my boys are gonna come in here. Leaving. Oh shit! My kids have been alone in the house for 10 minutes. For fuck's sake. All right. Great show. Thank you to John Singleton. How fun to finally get to meet him. And then tomorrow, no guest, and then Sunday, no guest. I don't know what's happening. Oh, I'm going on Jason Kalipa's podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's live. On Monday, April 1st. Oh shit, I better tell my wife about that.
The NC Fit podcast or something?
Uh
Jason Kalipa podcast?
Honestly, I don't even know. He said, "Do you want to come on a podcast with me and Gabe?" I don't know who Gabe is.
Gabe Yanez looks like a co-host. Cool.
You're full of shit, Dirt. You don't even know. I just realized Dana White hates media. IPSO facto he'd hate Sevan. You're full of shit. You don't know shit.
I think he just doesn't like being on podcasts.
I hung out with him alone once. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Yeah.
In 2000, probably for 10 minutes.
Did you
No
give
one
him
else was
elevator
around.
speech?
Say that again?
Did you give him elevator speech?
I tried to, but he was so charming and cool. We just ended up shooting the shit. There was no one around. He wasn't really Dana White at the time. I mean, he was, but it was either at the Arnold or the Mr. Universe, and we were in Vendor Village, and like it was empty, like it hadn't opened yet. And he was at his booth, and I was at this arm wrestling booth.
That's cool.
He didn't finger me. Did he finger you? No.
Did you fall?
I didn't fall either. What do you mean fall? Oh, paint, skateboard ramp,
okay.
paint.
Okay.
Hey, I saw one of my kids yesterday fell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus. And he fell on and landed on his back. I'm like, Jesus. And they're like, you know why that happened? Because it was wet over here or something. I'm like, no, it happened because you're 7 and you're tarded. And that all 3 of them didn't miss a second. They go, well, you're going to fall too. You're old. I'm like all 3 of them at the same time.
Damn. They had your number quick.
I know. Like, did I fall? That's disgusting. Wait, come on, dude. Come on.
Well, it looks
Why
like
can't it be something else? Like, are you having a venereal
doing
disease
crazy
flare up
shit.
or something? It's
That would
brown
be way
paint.
worse. I expected you like hopped on a skateboard on the new ramp, and then you like.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were testing it out for the kids, just to making sure. Then you slipped or you tried to do a kick turn or something and slid down the ramp. That's what I thought.
All right, fair enough. Hey, Dirt, this is gonna be hard. Maybe you're not gonna grasp this, but I'm gonna tell you this with 100% certainty. In a different lifetime, in an alternate universe, I would have been Dana White's right hand man instead of Greg Glassman's.
Whoa.
Facts, dude. I was in the right place. I was at the right time, and I didn't close the relationship. But me and Dana would be fucking besties for sure.
Just had to.
And I don't use that term lightly. Okay, see you guys later. Caleb, thank you. Fine, don't.